Mr. President, Members' motion with no legislative effect. Mr. Adrian HO's motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into economic development. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. I now call upon Mr. Adrian HO to speak and move the motion. Mr. Adrian HO. Thank you, President. I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. In recent days, according to statistics, in April this year, the retail sales value was about $28.9 billion, representing a drop of 2.3%. With uncertain global economic landscape, SMEs engaged in catering and retail businesses, they are heavily affected. On the 16th of March this year, the General Office of the Central Committee of CPC and the General Office of the State Council published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. It shows that our country attaches importance to boost spending, while Hong Kong should follow suit. We have to think about how we can boost our consumption market. I hope that through this motion, I'll be able to put forward different suggestions, and that the SAR government would be able to come up with policy initiatives to boost spending. According to the border control point at Shenzhen, in year 2024, there were over 77 million people from Hong Kong entered into the mainland through the border control points in Shenzhen. This shows that in recent years, Hong Kong people have been going north to spend. The commodity prices between the mainland and Hong Kong differ. Well, there have been sayings that goods in the mainland, they are more value for money. I think we have to look at the consumption experience as well. So I think it is important to create the vibes to encourage people to spend happily. If tourists and people in Hong Kong can spend money happily in here, then we can benefit the consumption market. During the Chinese New Year, we have a Spring Festival markets, and in the West, we have Black Fridays as well as Thanksgiving. We also have Christmas markets. In November, we have the consumption month as well. And all these are very popular among people. So Happy Spending Festival can encourage people to spend money. I hope there could be more support for the retail sector. There could be joint events or special offers rolled out by the catering sector as well as the hotel industry. This is to boost spending. The fifth part of the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption mentioned about strengthening brands and developing new modes of consumption. I'd like to talk about how we can leverage on our existing advantages. Last year, government officials of this government, when responding to members' questions, said there was a survey conducted by the Hong Kong Tourism Board, and the survey shows that there are advantages in our luxury goods sector because there are products assurance. I believe that the SAR government can reach out to more luxury brands, including those concerning fashion as well as automobiles, to attract capital and businesses. We should develop our high-end market. We should organize more conventions and exhibitions. There could be exclusive products in Hong Kong, and together with the entertainment sector, we can roll out more performances. In terms of popular consumption, I think we can follow certain models. For example, many people in Hong Kong, they travel to Japan and they like to go to outlets to shop. They pack many of the things that they bought in their suitcases. I think there could be a Hong Kong-style outlet. We can study the feasibility of having such an outlet at the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal. We can bring in well-known international brands. There could be a market that includes small brands in Hong Kong, and we can hold sports events there to create synergy. Before COVID, tourist spending accounted for 30 to 40% of total spending in Hong Kong, but in 2023, it dropped to 60 to 65% of the 2018 level. In recent years, we see an aging population in Hong Kong. The Silver Hair Group offers opportunities. In the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, it mentions about providing services to the elderly. That is to unleash the consumption potential of the Silver Hair Group. I think in Hong Kong, again, we can follow suit. According to government statistics, those aged 65 or above account for 20% of our total population. It is expected that in 2043, the number will increase to 35%. The government should seize the opportunity to develop silver economy. According to our country's report, in 2014, elderly people spent $4 trillion. It is expected that by 2050, the figure will increase to 106 trillion, which accounts for 30% of our country's GDP. It shows that our Silver Hair Group provides great potential. Developing silver economy can help us tackle an aging society and develop new markets. Last year, there was a working group to develop silver economy set up by the government. It is to roll out 30 measures. I hope that in future we can come up with a development blueprint in this area. With the development of the northern metropolis, we should reserve land to develop an integrated area with healthcare as well as elderly care services. We should roll out German technology products to unleash silver consumption potential, which can help maintain the quality of lives of our elderly people. Uncertain economic development may dampen people's wish to spend. So I think the SAR government should do something. According to our country's plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, point 26 mentions about policy initiatives to create synergy. The SAR government once wrote out consumption vouchers to boost spending. With the current fiscal position of the government, well, rolling out consumption vouchers may not be the best option now. CLP has recently rolled out a voucher scheme so that those who have low electricity consumption can benefit. I think the administration can learn from this model. For example, it can enhance the Green at Community scheme. Under the scheme, people should be encouraged to earn points by providing recyclables so that they can use the points in exchange for different types of goods and products. And the government should enhance the benefits under the Green at Community scheme for people. In this council, we've been talking about enhancing the competitiveness of our wet markets as well as hawker management. People in Hong Kong, there are long-term clients for our local market with good services and products. Will be able to keep these clients and customers. I hope that we can reshape our image as a shopping paradise. To keep people to spend in Hong Kong, this is not just an economic act, this is also a show of love. And this is a vote of confidence by our people if they stay here to spend.
And I propose the question to you that Mr. Adrian HO's motion be passed. Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. President, I thank Mr. HO for his motion so that members can have a discussion on this motion and the government can hear members' views. The government agrees with Mr. Adrian HO on this motion. This action plan on boosting consumption covers many measures, and one key point is to boost local consumption, and this has to do with the macroeconomy. It's also a key part of economic growth and has to do with the well-being of families, and this is the ultimate pursuit of people for a better life. We should find new growth areas in consumption. In product and supply, we need better quality and greater quantity so that we can achieve transformation of that quantity into consumption. Meanwhile, we should also be working on childbearing, education, and healthcare. We should offer better support so that we can tear down barriers in the way of consumption so that people can spend with peace of mind. We're in a volatile and complex economic landscape. The government is deeply aware that businesses are inevitably confronted with challenges. As we hold on to our conventional advantages, we should reflect on ourselves and seek reform so that we find new areas of direction, and that's how we can translate crisis or challenges into opportunities. The government will provide a favorable business environment, and we will foster a mega event economy and a silver economy so that the business can seize the opportunities from economic transition. We will guide them to roll out different measures to attract consumers from all walks of life that will cover non-local spenders and also the silver-haired group. I welcome the Hong Kong Retail Management Association's initiative earlier this month, and that was a summit on retail. That summit was about breaking new ground. It called on the sector to embrace market changes and to seize the new business opportunities from government policies such as mega event economy, silver economy, and also incoming talent from the mainland. Businesses are called upon to adjust their strategy with flexibility so that they can achieve growth. The Secretary of Commerce and Economic Development gave a speech. He noted that at the panel discussion, experts and opinion leaders from different sectors were invited to share their insights into the latest market developments and also ways where businesses can use the opportunities and also come up with strategies and make adjustments to their business models to meet consumers' needs and expand their business. I'm also glad to learn about the actions taken by the retail sector to achieve new results and break new ground. Tourism is also a key part of consumption because that also spurs growth in hotels, transport, and F&B. Hong Kong has been known as a city of mega events. In March this year at the Kai Tak Sports Park, which opened, we have seen that venue become a place for mega events and competitions, and that lays the foundations for mega events. We also hold many large-scale expos and summits every year, covering many areas: electronics, jewelry, clocks, you name it. All those events draw not just local consumers, but also high-spending commercial travelers, and that brings business to F&B, hotel, and the entertainment sectors, and that contributes massively to our economy. This year, the two venues for expos, the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Center and also the Asia World Expo, are expected to hold more than 140 summits and over 180 exhibitions, such as the Book Fair, the World Airline Expo, the Hong Kong Fashion Fest, etc. Those events will drive the convention and exhibition industry. They will also serve as a platform for exchange. The Hong Kong Trade and Development Council will hold various conventions and expos in August covering beverages, tea, and other areas, and that will draw tourists and local consumers. This will add to the vibrancy of the local market. The government also believes that we should be mindful of the preferences and needs of different demographic groups, and that will get them to spend more. Our population is aging, and that also means a huge potential. The 2024 policy address proposes a working group on silver economy covering 5 areas. So far, the Silver Hair Working Group launched 30 measures in May this year. 11 of them have to do with boosting silver consumption. Those 5 areas have to do with C&E e-commerce, promoting silver-friendly catering, a silver summit, and also protection for the consumer rights of the silver-haired group. Those are different ways we can promote silver consumption. On helping businesses achieve transition and seize opportunities, boosting the confidence of local consumers is a key part of our work. That's why the government takes steps to boost income for locals, relieve their burden, and offer better support through public services. Employment is crucial to people's well-being. Jobs bring income, and that also boosts consumption and drives economic growth. The government is committed to providing employment support and training for local workers to land jobs and stay in jobs. That's how we can get more people to work and maintain the spending power of the local workforce. Employment aside, greater support will be offered in education and healthcare to improve people's quality of life, and that will also be a crucial part in strengthening people's willingness to spend. Different policy bureaus will continue to strengthen people's sense of gain and well-being. I will listen to members' speeches with care, and I will pass on those comments to the relevant policy bureaus, and I will give a reply in my concluding speech. President, our retail and F&B sectors have seen changes in the spending patterns of locals and visitors. That's a fact. But let's look at the overall figures. Those sectors are recovering. In retail, total volume of merchandise saw narrowing fall in their volume. In April, it fell only by 2.3%. In the first 4 months this year, for the total volume of merchandise each month, it was roughly $30.9 billion. In F&B, total takings for restaurants in the first quarter this year only fell by 0.6% year-on-year. And within the sector, the average was $9.3 billion. We are confident that with the continuing push in mega events economy and silver economy, the sector will be able to seize the opportunities from economic transition, and will bring more visitors and locals to spend, and that will provide support to the local economy. Joining me today are people Undersecretary from the CSTB and also the LWB. We will listen carefully to members' views, and then in our concluding speeches, we will give a detailed reply. I so submit. Thank you, President.
Mr. Sunny Tan. Thank you, President. The State Council published the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, to expand internal demand, and stimulate local consumption. There are changes in the global economic landscape, and citizens tend to tread cautiously when it comes to consumption. We are undergoing changes unseen in a century. We need to see how we can dovetail with a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption from the perspective of market demand. We need to boost the equity market, the property market, as well as consumption. Indicators have been stabilizing in recent years. As long as we are more confident about the future, then we will be more than willing to spend. The national plan focuses on internal demand or domestic demand, but also encourages demand from outside the country. We need to diversify our market. In my motion yesterday, I mentioned that Hong Kong needs to leverage on our advantages or strengths in high internationalization to help more mainland enterprises to go global. We need to dovetail with the national strategy of going global together. We also need to draw Belt and Road country students to come to Hong Kong for education. As long as we can bring more talents together in Hong Kong, then the consumption market, property market, F&B industry will also be boosted in Hong Kong. When it comes to supply, the government should help industries to foster a business environment with lower cost but with more competitive edge. We have I Am Smart, and this will reduce administrative costs. We also need to streamline procedures and simplify legislation or procedures. We need to remove red tape. We also need to simplify procedures when it comes to bank account opening. This will help to enhance the competitiveness of the business environment. The national plan mentions boosting consumption when it comes to culture, sports, and tourism. First of all, we need to introduce more consumption options. We need to stimulate consumption in different income brackets. Before we had Lan Kwai Fong, expats and white-collar workers needed to go to hotels, upscale restaurants for consumption. When we had Lan Kwai Fong, there were much more options, and that played a very key role in the success of Hong Kong. Say Bangkok, Singapore, they have upscale Michelin star restaurants. There is also the hawker culture in the locality. This caters for the wide range of demands and needs in the city. We have a lot of different types of cuisine in Hong Kong. There are a lot of different restaurants. But we need to take a more systematic approach to reshape the gourmet culture of Hong Kong. We need to remove red tape. We also need to implement food truck policies once again. We need to add vitality to the consumption market as well as the F&B industry in Hong Kong. 18 districts across Hong Kong have different characteristics. Take Sham Shui Po. It's known for garments. There are a lot of different special features in different districts. Sham Shui Po boasts a lot of different characteristics about Hong Kong. We need to enhance the appeal of Sham Shui Po as well as the other districts in Hong Kong so that visitors will be drawn to these districts. We need to increase the proportion of consumption population in Hong Kong, and that will revitalize the consumption market in Hong Kong on all fronts. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Jimmy Ng. Thank you, President. There are both good news and bad news about the local economy. On the positive side, the World Competitiveness Yearbook 2025, Hong Kong once again returned to the top 3 positions. Business efficiency rose to the 2nd rank around the world. According to the CNSD, volume and value of total retail sales dropped. And this warrants our attention. In April, volume of total retail sales was provisionally estimated to go down by 3.3%. And the value of total retail sales in April 2025 was provisionally estimated at $28.9 billion, down by 2.3% year-on-year. Total consumption dropped for 14 months in a row. This shows the fact that a lot of industries are in dire straits in Hong Kong. The jobless rate has increased. The unemployment rate rose to 3.5%. That represents an increase of 6,400 people. Underemployment rate also increased by 1.4%. That represents an increase of 6,000 people. The economic recovery isn't yet back on track. People head north for consumption. People look for better experiences. All these are facts. Some people say that it's not cheap to spend in Hong Kong owing to high rents in Hong Kong. That's true. A lot of store owners need to borrow money to pay for the rental. So what should we do? Are we going to sit on our hands? We need to continue to provide better quality goods and services in order to revitalize the local market. Geopolitical tensions are affecting the world. Our country published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption in March. A total of 30 initiatives were proposed. We need to expedite new modes of consumption. When we are in adversity, the administration should be on the offensive to take actions. Say we have night vibes and we develop macro events economy, we have large-scale summits, forums, and so on. All these will drive local consumption. Some of these measures have already yielded results. We need to commend the administration for their efforts. However, in order to maximize the benefits, we need to draw reference from our neighboring country, say Singapore. It's very similar to us. Many people go to Malaysia for consumption during holidays. Singapore government worked with different industries to set up a committee. They put their heads together to formulate different blueprints and strategies to help industries to transform. In 2022, Singapore published the blueprint for transformation of industries. Different measures were proposed. Major policies included providing more support for brands, alongside improvements to the airport. Ramps are provided for parents to push their prams to the store. They try very hard to retain their own people to spend in the country. They aren't taking baby steps. We need to set up a task force on boosting local consumption headed by the Deputy Chief Secretary of Administration. We need to work with different chambers of commerce to hold different meetings. We need to come up with different policies. We shouldn't work in silos. We also need to enhance communication and liaison so that the policy will be more pragmatic. Thank you, President. Mr. Lam Chen Sing. Thank you, President. Hong Kong faces uncertainties when it comes to economic outlook. There are tariff wars. There are also geopolitical tensions. Many Hong Kong people head north for consumption. Retail, F&B industries are facing significant challenges. There are even fears about yet another wave of store closures. Some people are worried about job stability. They fear that they might have to take a pay freeze or they may be fired. That's why people tread very cautiously when it comes to consumption. Just now, Mr. Adrian HO mentioned the General Office of the State Council published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption in March. A total of 30 measures were proposed. What warrants our attention is that the country focuses on boosting consumption and narrow the discrepancy between the urban areas and the suburban areas. It also touches upon the statutory minimum wage mechanism. If we need to boost consumption, we need to ensure there is an increase in the general wages for people in the city. In the Guangdong province, there are better support for the unemployed and for the disabled. More employment support is provided to different groups of people. Back in Hong Kong, according to the CNSD, the wages of employees saw an increase every month. But the increase in the unemployment rate is also alarming. The unemployment rate rose to 3.5%, and there are over 130,000 unemployed people. That is a record high since 2023. The underemployment rate is 6.3% and 6.7% for different industries, such as the F&B and the retail industry. These industries have a lot of frontline workers, so we shouldn't secure employment just in the middle of the pandemic. Now, we also need to secure employment, but we shouldn't do so by way of handing out cash payments. We need to make adjustments. We also need to provide better employment support. If more women and elderly people work in the workplace, then the situation will improve. If they don't have a job, we have no way to boost consumption. A lot of Hong Kong people move north for consumption, and I believe this trend will become the new normal. Local stores need to work very hard to transform. They need to improve the quality of services. They need to provide unique experiences in order to retain their customers. Of course, the government needs to provide support and better planning. Take the F&B industry. The Guangdong province mentioned in its plan to enhance their reputation as a gourmet city. They encourage visitors to explore the gourmet culture in the Guangdong province. They also work very hard to set up an area of culinary experiences. Hong Kong has been known as a gourmet paradise. We need to provide a gourmet map for visitors. Visitors will navigate their way in Hong Kong to find different gourmet items. We need to build new food streets and night bazaars as well. Many Hong Kong people go to mainland China to get a taste of Sichuan cuisine and Hunan cuisine. These are appealing to visitors. The government is working hard to develop the mega events economy. These are aimed at bringing a lot of footfall to Hong Kong. I hope that the business sector will boost consumption and bring more visitors to Hong Kong. I also submit to support the motion.
Mr. Ronald Chan, President, in recent years, we see evolving international economic pattern. The three major engines that drive our country's GDP include consumption and investment as well as export. So the country places importance to driving the domestic demand. So we have to keep the momentum as well so that reduced consumption will not drive down our GDP. So I support Mr. Ho's motion. I understand that the spending habits of people in Hong Kong have changed in recent years. This strengthens the local market. According to government statistics, after COVID, we see fluctuations in private consumption expenditure, especially for food as well as consumables. The percentage dropped from 38.2% in 2021 to 33.8% in 2024. That means people are eating less, buying less, and they are going for cheaper goods and products. We have had 2 meal shops everywhere in Hong Kong. So I think the government should adopt an innovative model to boost spending so that we can revive our retail industry. Earlier, there are commentaries that say there are no dedicated departments of our government that look at our retail industry. Instead, in Singapore, there is one that comprises of government officials, the business sector, as well as scholars and labor unions. We can, for example, have the CEDB working with the EEB and the CSTB to form a dedicated department that help the retail industry to transform and rebound. On boosting local consumption, I think we can work on 3 major fronts. First, nighttime economy. We have a series of measures to draw for enterprises, talents, as well as tourists. We've seen a good momentum after COVID. However, people's spending habits have changed. If we look at Singapore, there is a series of activities to boost nighttime economy. For example, there are F1 races during evening. There are also concerts, and they invite football teams to hold sports events. We are working very hard in this regard as well, but it seems that we need to have more restrictions relaxed. Also, people in Hong Kong, they are aware of their health, but they do not have time to exercise. So I think running at night can be an opportunity. Last year, there are 670 running races in the mainland. We have the Avenue of Star. We also have running tracks in the Central and Western District. This can help people appreciate the nighttime scenery at the Victoria Harbour. Also, we should develop mega event economy. We give importance to mega events. We have the National Games this year, which is held once every 4 years. It is going to be hosted in Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau. I think this can help boost spending. There was the Winter Olympics, and it could revive people's wish to spend. Also, we can roll out a series of mascots as well as toys. Listed companies engaged in toy businesses, they are now very popular. It shows that people of all ages, they like to buy this kind of products. Lastly, food economy. Some members just now mentioned that we have a very good culinary culture. We have egg tarts as well as noodles that are very popular among tourists. I think we can make this more interesting. We can come up with rank, and I believe this can help boost spending. To boost spending, we have to pay attention to local people's spending habits. The SAR government should take up the responsibility. It should work with businesses to achieve effects. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Chen Pui-Leung. Thank you, President. There are uncertainties to the external environment. Hong Kong is a small and open economy, and it is seriously affected. We see a sluggish property market, and the economy is not reviving according to expectation. We've seen a wave of shop closures and business closures, and people are sacked, and they involve large-scale chain enterprises, and this affects people's spending confidence. Different sectors are facing challenges. I thank Mr. Adrian HO for moving this motion so that we can explore how we can boost local consumption market to create a good spending vibe. Indeed, people in Hong Kong, they are not unwilling to spend. According to statistics, last year, over 80 million people went to the north, involving $55.7 billion of consumption value. And a lot of people went to Japan to spend about $32.8 billion. And because of cross-boundary traffic, a lot of people travel to neighboring places to spend. This is inevitable. With such a situation, we have to navigate the changes in the market and think about how we can boost spending through innovative products and services as well as business models. We can increase or enhance people's spending experience. There are consumption subsidies as well as vouchers and special offers rolled out by different countries. For example, the Macau government, they rolled out discounts from Monday to Friday. If people can spend money electronically up to $50, they can get a coupon. And also during weekend, they can take part in lucky draws. With a fiscal deficit in Hong Kong, it's hard for us to roll out consumption vouchers to boost spending. However, the SAR government can think about rolling out duty-free allowance so that people, if they spend a certain amount of money, they can get tax deductions. This is to encourage people to spend in Hong Kong. Well, this is a rather complicated matter, so we will have to sort out the details if we want to roll out the scheme. We need to encourage people in Hong Kong to stay here to spend and at the same time attract people to come and spend money. We've seen new consumption models as well as new brands. And this brings freshness to consumers as well as new experiences for them. Some people find them value for money. Now let's look at Hong Kong. We have a very similar mix of shops in different shopping malls. And we lack characteristics or certain positioning for these shops. And tourists may get tired of these shopping malls and they will have no wish to spend. We see Labubu and Molly, they are very popular around the world. And Macau Tourism Board has been jumping on the bandwagon to roll out activities. At different attraction sites, they place Labubu as well as Molly figures. And there are also lucky draws rolled out in Macau. Tourists or people who spend money in Macau, they'll be able to get exclusive products. And people have been flocking there to take photos. What I want to say is that we're seeing a change in consumption habits among people. The younger generation, they look for the latest trend. So the SA government should, as well as different sectors, should take the initiative to become innovative. We should do it through the planning on shopping malls as well as opening up more tourism destinations. We should come up with themes. There could be thematic activities related to popular IP to attract people to spend money in Hong Kong. In recent years, the SAR government has been promoting mega event-based economy. We have the Kai Tak Sports Park now, and a lot of mega events have been held there. This helps encourage tourists to spend in Hong Kong. International enterprises also come to Hong Kong to hold major conferences, and that brings in high value-added business travelers. They go to upscale restaurants as well as hotel and retail shops to spend. I hope that the relevant stakeholders will work with the government to promote the staging of mega events in the Kai Tak Sports Park, and together with hotel industry, retail and catering industry, we can create synergy and build a mature ecosystem. I so submit. Thank you. Dr. Chow Man Kong. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. This April, Hong Kong's value of total retail sales has been on decline for 14 months, and the consumption power of the middle class has been on decline as well. People look for cheaper products, and they buy products in Taobao, and they go to the north to spend. I think we have to boost local consumption market, targeting two groups of people. We should target the local people. At the same time, we should cater to the needs of tourists. We should drive our tourism industry to save the jobs for 250,000 practitioners in the retail industry. For the middle class, we see that there have been measures rolled out by the government which have been quite effective. However, we should further ease the pressure of the middle class to encourage people to spend. Take EVs as an example. On one hand, we are encouraging people to buy EVs, but at the same time, we are increasing the tax as well as the relevant costs for those who drive EVs. There are contradictions with the tariff war. Well, people have been observing before they make certain decisions. Earlier, there were news about a chain restaurant closing, and people were sacked. However, at the same time, we're seeing better performance in our stock market. The Hang Seng Index rose from 18,000 points to 24,000 points. We can work on our IPOs to explore connectivity between Hong Kong and the mainland. This is to add vitality to the entire market so that we can revive the stock market and people will be able to earn and spend money. Over the past weekend, I went to the Asia World Expo and attended an automobile expo. New energy vehicles see great potentials. It is a good example of upmarket commodity. We see that in April, in terms of our sales volume in vehicles as well as vehicle components, we saw a huge drop. There was a drop of 53.4% year on year. It was expected that by 2024 and 25, we would be able to get $8 billion of revenue from vehicles, but at the end, we only got $4.8 billion. This is because there is a drop in terms of the number of vehicles registered for the first time. prices of EVs in Hong Kong, they are double that of the mainland. So we need to give incentives for people to buy EVs. While we popularize the use of EVs, we have to strike a balance as we try to increase revenue for the government. We have to be careful not to increase tax. We have to ensure domestic sales as well as stable government revenue. Also, I think the CEDB, the CSTB, as well as the Transport Department, they have to work together with public organizations and the business sector. We have to promote brands in Hong Kong. Mainland products are famous for being cheap and good. In Hong Kong, we sell traditional brands. For health supplements as well as other relevant products, they have been very popular. In the annual fairs, we have been able to attract a lot of people to come and shop. I hope that the relevant government departments can come up with a list of top 10 souvenirs in Hong Kong. It can step up publicity in Xiaohongshu as well as other channels. Secondly, governments of Hong Kong and mainland should work together. The duty-free allowance in Hainan should be applied to Hong Kong and Macau as well. And the relevant tax return measures in the mainland is posing a hard time for Hong Kong. Now, what is more important is the southbound travel scheme for vehicles, Guangdong vehicles. We are going to roll out this measure soon, but cars from Guangdong will only be able to park on the artificial island. I hope that the government will be able to relax the scheme so that Guangdong vehicles can be parked around the airport to provide convenience.
Mr. Scottler. Thank you, President. The total value of retail sales last year fell by 7%. More and more people now shop and dine in the mainland, and that brings structural challenges to our retail sector. The National Development and Reform Commission came up with this plan to boost consumption that covers 30 measures, greater variety of goods, better protection for consumers, better protection for the ability of people to spend, and also a greater effort in consumption of cultural and creative products. So that should give us a reason to think about what we should do. Our country's plan proposes more areas for people to spend money. Bazaars offering affordable goods should be an area we look at. But there are now restrictions on the mix of goods people can sell at bazaars. People cannot sell dry goods or prepackaged goods, and that means stallholders cannot sell new products in line with trends, and that holds back the transition of stores. I moved a motion on revitalizing this store system. We should allow those stallholders to sell local signature products such as long-standing prepackaged goods and also the creative products designed by young people. That should help us demonstrate our credentials as a gateway for selling creative products. We should allow stallholders assistance to inherit the license. Let's offer concessionary rents to encourage young people to use idle stores to start their business. Let's learn from the success stories from the mainland. There are nighttime markets from the mainland. People can do stores or do bonnet sales in the mainland. That revitalizes the mainland's economy. That also means opportunities for people to start their business. Even the average person can visit somewhere in the evening. For our hawkers and stores, we should offer people more choice, and that can help foster our local economy, and particularly the night economy. The government once had a drive to promote the nighttime economy and also nighttime markets. That was popular. But now we're not going far enough, and we're relying too much on bars. Let's look at our country's plan. It wants to develop a cluster of nighttime consumption spots. So we should have different events, different themes. Let's extend the operating hours of the Western Cultural Museum's cultural districts museums to offer immersive experience. And plus, once held a concert. It was an open-air concert just outside the museum. That shows people were willing to spend money when there were nighttime events. So we should hold more such events. Let's do nighttime market so that people can visit somewhere in the evening. Our country's plan also proposes something else, and that is more public transport services and temporary parking spaces. So let's encourage malls to extend their operating hours over weekends. For the MTR and buses, they can offer services to places like Temple Street. Let's also extend the service hours of those routes. In West Kowloon, we have an acute shortage of parking spaces. Now, for a certain mall in Yaoqing Mall, even as early as 5:30 p.m., the tailback is so long that you get all kinds of illegal parking in the district. So we need more temporary parking spaces to encourage more people to go out, and we should get more malls to open up their private parking spaces so that people are more comfortable about spending in the evening. Boosting local spending will take more than one-off events and one-off policies. We need a systematic approach to policies, and we need policy support. We have a unique culture and we are a vibrant community. Innovation and better use of resources will revitalize our consumption market, and that will mean impetus for our economy. I so submit and support the motion. Mr. Vincent Chan. Thank you, President. I support Mr. Adrian HO's motion on boosting local consumption to create stronger impetus for the economy. I want to discuss the local retail scene. This government's own figures show our total retail sale volume fell by 14 months in a row, and in April it was a fall of 2.3% at $28.9 billion. Now, for some retail subcategories, the fall was more dramatic. Now, for some products, it fell by 20%, that to home house appliances and also cars. Now, for cars and automobile products, they fell by 50%. People's spending patterns are shifting. People now spend in the north. They buy things online. People buy their electronic appliances and food over the internet. The food and beverage sector is also not doing well. 20 retail chains have closed, and for fast food chains, they're also seeing shrinking revenue. In Yau Ma Tei, there are just a few customers, even on weekends, but then for those selling rice with two sides, they are doing well. Retail and F&B scenes change fast. Given the challenges, I support this motion. Let's look at March. Our country's plan on initiatives to boost consumption. That plan covers many steps, and we can learn from that. We took steps to boost consumption. We wanted to find ways to create a better business environment and inspire confidence. People's spending patterns are shifting. The government and other sectors are also working to meet the challenge to unleash the spending potential. We're also encouraging people and visitors to spend more. A Kai-Tak Sports Park held many mega events, including concerts. People are now happy to spend. A $600 jersey for the Hong Kong football team has been in demand. Now, from 2021 and 24, because of the COVID, we issued consumption vouchers on three occasions, each costing more than $10 billion. Given where we are now, it's unlikely we can give consumption vouchers again. Now, but let's not forget that our inbound arrivals have been on the rise. In May, there were more than 5 million, up 20% from before. The mainland has also relaxed multiple entry visas to Shenzhen or from Shenzhen. So we have what it takes, and we should be confident in the retail scene in the future. The State Council issued this plan on initiatives to boost consumption. We can learn much from that plan. We can get more people to spend on cultural, creative, and sports products, and we can step up branding. We can also have more cruise lines. We can have more yacht registration. We can support the development of local signature drinks and food. the mainland has many initiatives, and people are saying this. The mainland offers trade-in subsidies for people to buy smartwatches and phones. And in Macau, there are also incentives from the government and also trade associations. Other members have covered many measures. And let's return to this plan from the State Council. That covers culture, sports, spending. And this is something we want to focus on. There's huge potential in culture, sports, and tourism. Travelers go around the world. They come here for a concert or for a world-class football match. And we have the Kai Tak Sports Park. That's a great engine, and that can lead growth. That can bring more tourists here for mega events, so that we can pursue this host city economy. A Taiwan band just had a show at the Kai Tak Sports Park. They also sell merchandise. 4 football teams from the UK will also visit Hong Kong. So let's build on that. The CSTB should arrange more mega sports events, and let's also think of ways to encourage spending and bring more teams here and bring more tourists here to spend. Now we have the Sports Commission. We should have clauses in government's funded programs to require them to bring in either teams or events or visitors. I'm also grateful to government departments for their work. There will be vast opportunities in the future. I will support those programs. I support Mr. Adrian HO's motion. Mr. Stephen Ho. I support Mr. Adrian Ho's motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into economic development. But I want to qualify my statement, and that is in line with our country's plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. So it's about learning from that plan so that we can boost consumption in Hong Kong. So maybe this is something Mr. Adrian Ho can clarify in a moment. Now we've been talking about integration into the Greater Bay Area and supporting our country's development. But our officials and people sharing ideas may not have a full picture of Hong Kong. Mr. Adrian Ho said people go to the mainland because they get better value in the mainland. The focus is on price. But let's look at Hong Kong. One country, two systems. We are a free port. Where's our edge? We haven't spelled out our edge. I'm from the agriculture and fishery sector, and this applies to the F&B sector. Why do people dine in the mainland? Is it just service quality? Is there nothing good about Hong Kong? We are a free port. We have an edge in our seafood. Our seafood is competitive. We have lobsters. Duty-free. You go to the mainland, 70% in duty. That's why the Security Bureau asks the Customs and Excise Department to seize the smuggled lobsters, because smugglers sell the lobsters to the mainland. So here in Hong Kong, we offer options in seafood that other places cannot offer. We have to develop something that cannot be replicated. Anything that can be replicated, think of the mainland. The mainland can replicate. So we will lose our edge when it can be replicated by the mainland, and we will have to come up with a new edge. So I'm just tossing around some ideas for the government to consider. Let's look at the mainland. The top-tier cities in the mainland are now taking a different approach. They want free chilled meat and frozen meat because of speed and efficiency. And we here in Hong Kong, we're slaughtering 3,000, 4,000 pigs per day. We have a chicken market. We have fresh meat market. I don't foresee any huge change in the short term. Let's take this market seriously. We offer fresh meat, something not on offer elsewhere. That's how we can develop something that cannot be replicated by the mainland. We had a head start in development. We are a modern, developed city. We also have green concepts that can support our country. Our country wants to protect its lucid waters and lush mountains because that's an invaluable asset. For us, we have sustainable seafood, eco-friendly. Our compatriots are also taking green seafood more seriously, and they are willing to pay more for the sustainable seafood. On cost per se, we lose. Now, since I can see Mr. Raislin Lau here, we have mega events, we have a host city economy, we bring international visitors here. So let's promote our food and beverage industry. Let's drive changes. And that's where we can get ahead of the rest of our country and other cities so that we can create the first brand. So let's give thought to this. In my last minute, I want to say this. We had a head start. So we have all these laws we took pride in. We're too slow in amending our laws, and that's holding back our development. There are security or safety considerations. And then we have all these straitjackets. Live farms want leisure farming. Now there was this initiative with A and F, and that is called Agri-Enjoy. But our laws are holding us back, and we are moving too slowly in our review of our laws. So let's ditch our old, outdated thinking. Let's review our laws so that we can develop an economy and develop new quality productive forces. I so submit.
Reverend Peter Kun, thank you, Deputy President. Hong Kong is the pearl of the Orient. We are facing pressure as a result of economic transformation. Hong Kong people head north for consumption. Many stores in Hong Kong folded. The consumption market in Hong Kong is undergoing structural changes. The consumption market is polarized. We have high prices, which lead to a shrinking market. At the same time, Hong Kong people are going north for consumption, and this has become a trend. NHR company announced results of the rank of living costs. Hong Kong is the city with the highest living costs. Rise with two sides speak volumes about this situation. There are many more rise with two sides shops, and this shows the resilience of this type of stores. This is affecting the F&B industry. This is also reshaping the F&B culture. This will undermine the competitiveness of Hong Kong, as this reduces the number of options. Dental scaling in Shenzhen less than 100 yuan. The service quality is even better than Hong Kong's. At weekends, during long holidays, a lot of Hong Kong people go to Shenzhen. They aren't just after cheaper services and products. They can see the competitiveness of the products and services offered in mainland China. Consumption is dropping in Hong Kong. There are a lot of vacant stores in Hong Kong. A lot of eateries with long history also folded. These point to the difficulty in the consumption market in Hong Kong. We cannot afford to sit on our hands. The administration needs to adopt a multi-pronged approach to boost local consumption. We need to forge an environment conducive to consumption. I believe there should be more support to SMEs, say low-interest loan, as well as support for startup funds. This will help the SMEs to weather the storms. The administration should also work harder with chambers of commerce. There should be more value added to local brands. The administration may consider setting up funds to provide more support to local consumption and local brands. This is actually better than simply providing cash handouts. This will also diversify the consumption market and lead to equality in the services and products. The administration should focus on taxation structural changes. This will increase the earnings of Hong Kong people. For instance, the profits tax allowance should be increased. Child education allowance should also be increased. Tax concessions should be offered to enterprises to encourage them to go for local procurement. I believe this method will, in the long term, stimulate local consumption and add vitality to the local consumption market. In the long term, we need to have a comprehensive database. We need to have data to formulate different policies. That is exactly how we can keep pace with the times. I hope that the administration will do its level best to boost local consumption. We need to draw reference from different cities to reposition ourselves and to enhance our competitiveness so that the Pearl of the Orient will scale new heights. Thank you. I so submit. Dr. Kennedy Wong. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. Let's look at some figures. The Hong Kong announced statistics. The value for total retail sales in April dropped by 2.3% year-on-year. It has dropped for 14 months in a row. It's worse than market expectations. For durables, it saw a more significant drop of 22%. For furniture, it also dropped by 16%. Fuel, 12%. Supermarkets, jewelry, clocks and watches, apparel, all these dropped between 1.5% and 5.5%. The F&B industry, retail industry, there were brand names with a long history, but then they were forced to fold. A congee shop with 30 years of history, some shops with 40 or even 70 years of history, say a wonton noodle shop, cinemas, food delivery platforms, all these went bust. So how should we boost local consumption? The motion mentioned that the administration needs to dovetail with the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. A series of measures need to be introduced to stimulate local consumption and to encourage the public to unleash their consumption potential. In principle, I go along with these measures, but then in the mainland, they target at stimulating domestic demand. In fact, 30-odd concrete measures in 8 main areas were proposed, say how to increase resident earnings, how to improve healthcare, protection, and so on. All these are covered under the plan of the country. Government bureaus shouldn't work in silos. They need to work together to implement a basket of measures. We need to encourage the public to spend. The Ministry of Commerce provides subsidies to purchase mobile phones, household appliances, and so on. Subsidies range from $200 to $7,000. Of course, we want the same policies to be implemented in Hong Kong as well. But owing to our fiscal position, we could only draw reference from these policies for the time being. I believe the government should consider focusing on sectors with a more serious decrease in the volume and value of total retail sales. The administration should distribute consumption vouchers in a targeted manner. retail, SMEs, the retail sector, we need to distribute consumption vouchers on a matching basis in a targeted manner. This is exactly how we can provide subsidies in the most targeted manner. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority released statistics in the first quarter in 2025. Hong Kong dollar savings increased by 5.1%. In fact, this increase is stable. But then there are also figures dropping. So I believe the administration needs to work with the banking sector. We need to have sufficient consumption credit or loan. Interest rate should be low enough to boost consumption. The government should consider INT as well. Say, we may provide one-off consumption vouchers so SMEs will reap benefits when it comes to blockchain technologies. Macau has consumption voucher lucky draws, so there's a wide array of options to boost consumption. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion. Ms. Eunice Yong. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Ho's motion on boosting the local consumption market. F&B, retail, they have a very difficult time in Hong Kong right now. We need to encourage visitors to spend. This is exactly how we can inject impetus into the local economy. So we do need to study the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption promulgated by the mainland China. We need to, from a top level, boost local consumption. Hong Kong has been working very hard to develop our own brands to boost local consumption and to cement the development of the local economy. Good reputation, good quality, that's how we draw visitors from around the world. So we need to develop the Hong Kong brand and the Hong Kong manufactured brand. We need to make more visitors know more about the Hong Kong brands. Hong Kong Brands and Products Expo is organized every year. We need to consider providing more support to different chambers of commerce to organize different exhibitions, say in WCD CG Center and Kai Tak Sports Park. There are many products sold in these areas. Of course, as we know, the Kai Tak Sports Park has F&B shopping areas, but I think the government should provide more support to different venues, say CG Center. Recently, I visited the CG Center at 11 o'clock, but then after 10 p.m., there weren't any shops still open. I couldn't even buy a bottle of water. So how could we boost local consumption? That venue was actually packed full of people, but beyond 10 p.m., people couldn't even borrow a charger. They couldn't even buy a bottle of water. So after the show, they could only leave. This way, how can we boost consumption? We do need more F&B services in the evening. Just now, Mr. Stephen Ho mentioned the agricultural and fishery products. I'd been on different boards of the AFCD, so quality agricultural and fisheries products are close to my heart. Recently, I went to Kuwait to see how we can bring these products to the Middle Eastern markets. We have a lot of good watermelons. Ms. Chen Yutming treated us to different watermelons and strawberries in Hong Kong. Actually, there are many local produce that are very fresh and high quality. So why don't we promote these local produce? We need to promote local A&F products. We need to bring them to local F&B industries, say restaurants, hotels, for visitors and locals to get a taste of them. We need to let people know we have good food. The meals may be more expensive, but I believe they will feel that these meals offer better value for money. I hope that the administration will work with the Hong Kong TB to promote A&F products so that we will attract visitors to come to Hong Kong to get a taste of the unique gourmet culture of Hong Kong. This way, we can boost local consumption as well. We need to safeguard local consumer confidence by making sure that the products and services are provided by certified stores. On enhancing collaboration between mainland China and international certification organizations, we need to help local products and local brands to go global. At the same time, we need to attract better quality products to establish their presence in Hong Kong. We need to leverage on AI. We also need to provide better travel experiences using personalized thematic tours. Hong Kong is a metropolis. We need to work harder and more closely with the travel industry. Your time's up.
Mr. Lai Tongkuo, Deputy President, I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. We've seen basic changes in people's spending habits around the world. This can be shown in the weak domestic demand in our country. According to statistics, this April, the total value of retail sales dropped for 14 months in a row. And for the first 4 months this year, the total value of retail sales dropped by 5.6% and the sales volume dropped by 7.2%. Supermarket goods sales dropped by 2.4%, clothing dropped by 5.6%, jewelry, expensive clocks dropped by 1.7%, and vehicle components dropped by more than half. We see weak high-end consumption. This March, the country published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, and it covers healthcare, childbirth, as well as elderly care. There are 30 measures under the plan. The key is to boost spending, improve consumption environment, unleash people consumption power, narrowing the gap between people's consumption potential. The key to the plan is to ease people's concerns. For example, there are childbirth subsidy, and there are also enhanced student subsidies so that people have the ability to spend. There are also measures to enhance consumption in culture, sports, and tourism. For example, simplified operational model and simplified procedure for approving sports events to boost spending. We have to learn from this model. In Shenzhen, there are measures that worth our practicing. In 2023, measures were rolled out to boost spending. The measures targeted Hong Kong and Macau tourists. A number of measures were rolled out. For example, publicity was stepped up for Hong Kong and Macau tourists, and consumption services were improved for tourists, and cross-boundary payment measures were also improved. This enhances the appeal of Shenzhen for Hong Kong people and also injected great impetus to their retail industry. Hong Kong as an international metropolis, we should learn from these practices. We should improve our tourism measures and offerings to attract tourists as well as to stabilize the local consumption market. We've been talking about events capital. I think we have to be precise. We have to accurately grasp people's habits and what they like. We have to focus on quantity instead of quality. There were a number of subsidy schemes rolled out by the government for mega events, but it lacks attractiveness. They failed to boost into local spending, and there was a waste of public money. The government should focus on mega events such as in Kai Tak Sports Park. During July and August, there will be a number of matches held by international football teams, and football stars are going to have a museum as well as a flagship store in Hong Kong. These events are very influential. These football teams, they have billions of fans around the world as well as audiences. It is expected that the football matches will attract fans from different places to come to Hong Kong as well as media to Hong Kong. These events can also boost businesses in retail as well as catering industry and the hotel industry. They can also boost our exposure to the world. The government should work actively with enterprises as well as relevant stakeholders to create the event vibe. This will help promote the event-based economy. Now, I know that in recent years, Hong Kong is ranked one of the most attractive Muslim-friendly destinations around the world. This is a very good opportunity for us. With the existing economic situation, we have to focus on our short-term, medium, as well as long-term development. We have to create a very good environment to encourage people to spend. We should create a stable as well as sustainable consumption market and attract visitors from different sources to come to Hong Kong. It is only with footfall that we can create capital. This can also create job opportunities for the grassroots. Also, the government needs to improve the relevant basic infrastructure and improve the tourism industry. It should also help enhance the competitiveness of our retail and service sector. Thank you. Mr. Chao Shiu-chung, last year, the government in the work report meeting mentioned about a few important missions. It includes boosting spending as well as economic growth. And this March, our country published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. On stimulating consumption, we should learn from our country. Private consumption has for years been our momentum for economic growth. We need to enhance public local spending, and we have to work with different sectors. We are entering an aging society, and last month the government rolled out measures to promote silver economy. And in terms of promoting the relevant measures, I have the following suggestions. In order to unleash silver consumption power, we have to make sure that they have the money. Elderly people, they need to have a stable job to make earnings. Just like the action plan rolled out by our country, the first measure is to ensure reasonable growth of people's wage, as well as employment support for people. Currently, we're seeing a poor performance in terms of elderly employment rate. According to statistics, those aged between 55 and 59, the employment rate rose to 4%. This is higher than 2.7% before last July and September. That is before we expand the labor importation scheme. The latest employment rate is 3% compared to July and September 2023. It was 2.2%. This is because of the importation of labor. Many grassroots elderly told the labor union that they have been having a hard time to look for jobs. And employers have been reducing workers' working hours or even dismiss them. Well, elderly people couldn't even secure their jobs. How would they have the money to spend? So we have to shrink our labor importation scheme to ensure local employment. We should look at the plan to boost consumption. For example, we should ensure pension for retired people to ensure their consumption power. Similarly, the SA government could do more in terms of retirement protection. We have the annuity as well as reverse mortgage plan and insurance scheme for retired people. But these schemes are not very popular. For example, something that these schemes cannot resist inflation. I think that the Hong Kong Annuity Corporation should roll out inflation-packed products. At the same time, annuity companies should roll out more discounts on insurance premium to enhance the appeal of the scheme. In year 2020, the SAR government said they could help make contribution to the MPF schemes for elderly people. Last year, the administration said it is carrying out feasibility study on the above plan. I hope the government can come up with a decision too soon. Apart from elderly people's consumption power, we need diversified silver products and services. The working group on promoting silver economy wrote out a number of measures. For example, there are retail discounts for elderly people, and also there are support measures for German technology. I hope that these measures can stimulate elderly people's spending power. This will help stimulate our domestic demand market. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Edmund Wong. Deputy President, I thank Mr. Adrian HO for the motion. With unilateralism as well as hegemony and even wars around the world, we see great changes in the global economic situation. Retail as well as catering industries are facing a hard time. According to statistics, in April, the total value of retail sales stood at $28.9 billion. It is a drop of 2.3% compared to last year. It dropped for 14 months in a row. What does that mean? It means that last April, we already saw a drop of 15%. And people have been complaining about it, and a year later it dropped by 2.3%. While the drop has been shrinking, but we are not seeing a rebound. This shows that people are not confident about property prices. Last December, Mr. Jeffrey Lam moved a motion about creating a good business environment. I mentioned that there were 3 major challenges that cannot be resolved, and also people are not spending. Businesses cannot survive. Like Mr. Chen, Secretary for Administration, said, people are going to the north to spend. We have got more tourists, but they're not helping with our businesses. And the 4 core zones see a 12.1% in terms of shop vacancy rate, which is a record high in the past 4.5 years. Well, online sales have been dealing a huge blow to us. With just as adjustment to the global situation, will that subvert the situation? Well, vacant shops may be rented out, but if we have 30 to 40% of vacancy rate, investors will choose to fold their businesses, and this will aggravate or deteriorate the situation. Well, people will not start businesses if they are going to lose money. So the SAR government has to think about how to lower the cost for businesses. The compliance cost has been huge for businesses. We have to think about how to relax the relevant restrictions. The SAR government should talk to owners of vacant shops. If owners can lower the rent and government can offer subsidies, then we can, for example, create a street with cultural characteristics. People may be able to rent the shops and start businesses if there are such measures. Now, on the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, well, there are measures under the plan. It covers 8 areas and 30 major missions. Not all of them apply to Hong Kong. For example, in the mainland, there are subsidies for those who replace their old electrical appliances with new ones. However, for the SAR government, it will not be able to roll out such a subsidy. I think one of the directions we can take is to increase inbound consumption. Last year, Taylor Swift held a concert in Singapore, and there was $400 million of profit for Singapore. I think it created a multiplier effect. I think the government should think about how to adopt a new mindset in this regard. Also, the government has been rolling out mega event-based economy. We see a return of visitor numbers. However, the hotel occupancy rate is not increasing. I think the government should think about how we can boost spending. In Shanghai, there have been measures to stimulate economy. I think we can learn from the relevant measures. I think the government should consider allowing people to hold ticket stubs to enjoy certain special offers or discounts or even government subsidies. Now, going back to the question I asked at the beginning, if there are vacant shops in the street, we can perhaps think about how we can encourage people with ticket stubs to spend money on those streets. I so submit. Thank you.
Ms. Connie Lam. Thank you, Madam Deputy. I support Mr. Adrian HO's motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into economic development. Our post-COVID economic recovery has been dragged down by the external environment. Our GDP has seen growth in 9 quarters in a row. But then there is uncertainty. The Census and Statistics Department figures show there has been a 14-month drop in our retail sales. The total sale in retail fell by 24%. And for some sectors, the fall is as big as 43%. That's why in most town, there's a shop that put out a sign that complained about the high rent, and there's a loss of confidence. People are still flocking to the mainland to spend and dine. We have been relying on inbound visitors to spend. But then the spending pattern of mainland visitors has shifted, so that strategy no longer works. E-commerce is also all the rage now. Many mainland platforms also now offer free delivery. So that's a blow to our retail. Without a strategy to cope, we will simply see more empty stores on Hong Kong street. Now, people make do with what we have when they spend money. So to encourage spending, we have to take pressure off people. What is happening actually goes against that principle. We're scaling back welfare benefits. After COVID, more people want to hold on to their money. People are riding out the tough times, so we cannot expect them to spend comfortably. The central authorities rolled out the plan on initiatives to boost consumption, and there are many measures we can learn from. There are measures to take pressure off people, better childcare, better support for low-income groups, better unemployment support, and also a better minimum wage system. And that will help restore consumer confidence. Spending depends on prices. A universal consumption voucher can work. There were merchants who jacked up prices during those consumption vouchers, but we can learn from the mainland. We can have targeted consumption vouchers, or we can have consumption subsidies for specific products. Now, the national subsidies are working well. The Ministry of Commerce's figures show, as at the 31st of May this year, now for the 5 kinds of trade-in subsidies that generated 1.1 trillion RMB of extra revenue. Subsidy released 175 million yuan. If we can learn from that, we can encourage trade-in, and that's how we can encourage more consumption. Now, the silver economy is another focus, and that's also part of the central government's plan. We set up a working group on this. The silver group has much spending power. Earlier this year, we ditched the offsetting mechanism for MPF, so that offers better retirement protection. With an aging population, we will see retiring people with more money. Now, in terms of e-commerce, tourism, and entertainment, the silver demographics have demand for such services. So let's focus on this silver group. Let's deal with the digital divide. And let's make it easier for seniors to spend. We need elderly-friendly services so that we cater to the needs of seniors. Let's also offer regular tourist groups for seniors so that seniors are exposed to new things, and that will get them to spend. Let's also give help to small and medium enterprises. Mainland e-commerce platforms have come here, so can we help our local SMEs to go to the mainland? Let's hold the Hong Kong Shopping Festival regularly, and let's coordinate with the mainland's platforms to have a dedicated section for Hong Kong businesses so that mainland consumers can access Hong Kong's products, and that can lead to business growth. Once Hong Kong's businesses build a base of fans in the mainland, we can get them to come here to spend at Seoul Summit. Your time is up. Mr. Martin Liao. Madam Deputy, our retail sector has been struggling. In March, retail volume fell by 3.5% year-on-year. And that's 12 months of decrease in a row. There's a profound change in people's spending pattern, and this means the sector should keep up with this new trend and seek transformation and upgrading. Our retail and F&B sectors are struggling with high rent, high wages, and also the spending power going elsewhere. People like to spend in the mainland because they get better value, better service for lower prices, and they also have access to a greater variety of services and goods. High rents in Hong Kong are putting pressure on businesses. So we cannot expect to win by offering lower prices. We follow the market or free market principle, so rent is up to the market. Any rent adjustment will take time. Shenzhen's vibrant retail scene will also drive up their own rent levels. And that means for our retail sector and F&B sectors, they will have to try to break new ground, and they will have to offer different shopping experience so that people go to the mainland and people can also shop here. So let's ride on the momentum of mega events. Let's have retail spending in sports, culture, and other areas. Businesses should find out what people need. The blind box economy is very popular. That's because the younger generation crave experience, and that's a new form of business. This takes exploration, and in this process, the government should give businesses appropriate help. So there should be flexible rent arrangements for offices at bodies run by public bodies. So let's learn from the well-being sort of program. So the landlord can charge us part of the profit, but overall the rent should be a concessionary rent. And we should keep enhancing our one-stop support for SMEs to tide them over the rough patch that is economic transition. The government should also work with the industry to tap the tourist market so that tourists become willing to spend for unique experiences. We have been known as a culinary paradise, and we are attractive to Asian tourists. Now, we are second only to Japan in terms of the number of Michelin-starred restaurants. We have what it takes to be the world's culinary capital. So let's capitalize on this so that people think of Hong Kong the moment you bring up good food. People go to Japan just for beef and sushi because they like the delicacies. So let's promote our traditional dining culture. And we should innovate in turn in the variety of products we offer. Let's also promote high-end Cantonese cuisine, so that people can choose affordable diners by the street and also high-end restaurants, and anywhere they go, they can access good service. As I said time and again, we need enough manpower to stay competitive. a labor crunch will hurt our service quality. So I hope the government can further relax the restrictions on the supplementary or enhanced supplementary labor scheme so that sectors can bring in manpower they need. I so submit. Mr. Chen Kim-po. Thank you, Madam Deputy. Our external environment is volatile, the local economy is struggling, there's a shift in the spending pattern of locals and visitors, and that hurts the retail scene. To boost local consumption is no easy task, but there are favorable factors. With good policy, we will be able to strengthen our retail sector. Capital flows has to do with the economy. Once capital comes in, our economy becomes more vibrant. As at the end of April this year, deposit total exceeded $18 trillion. Now, because of the interest rate, people are willing to keep money in the bank account. Now the interest rates are falling, so people should be more comfortable with spending. SMEs are a crucial part of our economy. Business is struggling, the economy is struggling. We don't want businesses to close. We don't want them to fire people. That's the key task. Now, with the support of the banking sector, we will be able to keep SMEs alive by giving them support. Say we need more flexible loans to ease the pressure on SMEs' cash flow. And let's also relaunch the digital transformation support pilot scheme. And let's also expand the scope of SMEs and industries that can benefit. Let's lower businesses' costs to help SMEs with the first step in digital transformation. And let's also promote our existing funding schemes for SMEs so that SMEs become aware of those schemes. Merchants have rolled out special deals for locals and visitors, so let's learn from the state councils plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. More spending in culture, sports, and tourism. Let's make greater use of artificial intelligence. The spending pattern has shifted for locals and visitors, so we should roll with the punches. Let's promote spending with Hong Kong features. Last month, there was an exhibition on the Kowloon Ward City Park, and that exhibition featured the set of this movie, Twilight of the Warriors Walked In. Now we can promote such signature items, and we should get locals and visitors to spend here. Fewer people are spending in the north now. Now more people stay in Hong Kong. And to get more people to stay here and spend, we should offer a spending environment with Hong Kong characteristics. So let's be flexible with the restrictions in terms of dining hours, minimum spending. Let's be flexible for all those restrictions to ensure greater customer satisfaction. Now, because of COVID restrictions, businesses scaled back their business hours. Some shops close at 9 p.m. So even when people want to spend, they want to dine, they have nowhere to do it. So let's extend business hours. Over long weekends, can we try extending the business hours? We watch how many people visit the shops and then we make adjustments. Now, boosting the local consumption market will take time. In tough times, the government needs to work with the business to come up with new ideas to attract local consumers. I so submit.
Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Adrian HO for moving this motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into local economic development. Private spending forms a major component of the local GDP, accounting for some 67% last year. According to the CNSD, in recent months, retail performances are showing signs of stabilization. The value of total retail sales dropped by 2.3%, despite narrowing discrepancy. It has recorded a drop for 60 months in a row. We need to develop the financial market well in order that we can improve the earnings and savings of the people in Hong Kong. We need to perform better with the financial industry. That's exactly how we can help different industries to develop. This will also create more job opportunities. We also need to organize more regular events to encourage the public to go out to spend. The country announced a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. It mentions increasing earnings and stabilizing the stock market. Hong Kong is an international financial center. The buoyancy of the equity market will also have an impact on the local economy as well as the local consumption market. Recent new stocks have recorded a significant increase. This has brought a handsome income or return for investors. In the long run, the government should enhance investor education. At the same time, members of the public should also acquire more knowledge about financial management. I agree with the Hong Kong Exchange. Therefore, popular new stocks or IPOs, new derivative tools are provided to enrich the investment options in the market. We need to keep the risks controllable or manageable. The plan on special initiatives to boost consumption mentions enhancing consumption for culture, sports, and tourism. The F&B industry should extend the operating hours. There should also be more sports competitions organized. Different sporting events attract a lot of different locals and visitors to spend. The Hong Kong football team, for the first time, had a match in the home stadium in the Hong Kong Kai Tak Sports Park. It drew over tens of thousands of spectators. The F&B industry isn't doing very well. If the government can seize upon this opportunity to promote sporting events and encourage the retail sector to seize upon the opportunities brought about by the nighttime economy, then we can boost the local consumption market. Consumption patterns are changing. Many people head north for consumption for better quality services and products. They want to get more bang for their buck. Recently, I heard from the F&B industry that we need to review the policies of importing workers from outside Hong Kong. The median wages are on the high side. We also need to provide accommodation, and the application procedures are quite complicated. We have a manpower shortage. This is beyond dispute. The work pressure in Hong Kong is quite significant. This is beyond dispute, and that leads to a drop in service quality. The government should enhance training so different industries in Hong Kong will seek to improve the quality of services. They can smile more and solve problems for customers. These are quick fixes. Thank you. Dr. Hui Simon Lee. There are many reasons why the Hong Kong consumption market is so weak. Property market is in the doldrums, employment pressure, structural issues, a lack of consumption confidence, and so on. One very important reason or factor is the consumption patterns and consumption behavior. These are undergoing changes in the current era. These pose a lot of challenges to the consumption market, not least in mature economies or advanced economies. The new consumption patterns focus on immersive experience. One, how we can enhance the experience of consumers. Brands in Hong Kong need to move towards this direction, that is to develop a sense of belonging to these brands among customers. We need to combine different senses as well as the experience of customers so that they will feel that they are actually having an immersive experience. Say for Team Lab in Shanghai is a good example. It boosts the local consumption sentiments. Customers change from a passive role to an active role when it comes to consumption. They have new experiences about shopping and consumption. VR is used to create personalized products or clothing for customers. Cultural symbols, IP, are also used to boost local consumption. Say for Changsha, there were a lot of customers, as many as 10,000. Gentle Monster in South Korea has a new recurring theme every quarter. One Bangkok in Bangkok also has new experience for consumers. Consumers are willing to make visits to these places for consumption. Some KOLs have online sales, live streaming, karaoke crossover hotpots. All these are new experiences seen in this century or seen in this era. We need to integrate culture and tourism. In the mainland, there are different food delivery platforms to enrich the experience of consumption. Recently, there are some indoor experiences or indoor parks. And the government is moving towards the right direction. But at present, we haven't yet formed an ecosystem. Say in Art Basel, we have an immersive consumption experience. In Kowloon Wall City, we have new experiences as well. But how can we further expand the impact? We need to think more about this. The government needs to be more diversified. Where safety requirements are met, we need to allow store owners or stores more flexibility. This will allow more crossover opportunities for local stores. We have a lot of museums in Hong Kong. They can generate more consumption as well. We need to revamp shopping malls. In the mainland, for the top shopping malls or consortiums, they have been working towards this direction for many years. Consumption patterns are changing. We shouldn't just rely on our traditional practices. The government should provide support from the perspective of policy in the face of these changes. Thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Wen Kong. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. We need to address the deep-seated challenges facing the local consumption market. After the pandemic, there have been some significant changes in the local consumption market. Just now, Dr. Hui Simon Lee said that we are at the crossroads of these changes. Many Hong Kong people cross the boundary in search of better experiences. According to the Immigration Department, over the weekend from Friday to Sunday, over 2.17 million visitors left Hong Kong, and the figure rose to 3.5 million and then increased further to 1.16 million this year. There are more negative impacts on Hong Kong. Owing to fewer customers for the F&B industry, some business receipts decreased by at least 20 to 30%. Some stores are on the brink of closure. The economy is in the doldrums, so a lot of companies have stopped recruiting staff. The employment landscape is not looking good. When companies earn less, government receive less tax as well. These are prompting the local retail sector to transform. For the past few years, more challenges facing the retail sector have surfaced. They do need to address the situation squarely. Many traditional industries need to upgrade and transform. That's exactly how they can boost the local consumption market. In this transition period, how long will it be? Can we shorten it? That is the crux of the matter. From the perspective of policies, we need to walk the talk. By providing tax concessions, rental subsidies, we need to provide assistance to the affected F&B industries as well as other companies. We also need to preserve the economic and societal value of companies or stores with a long history in the city. Overregulation might be effective measures. In the West, there are open restaurant programs allowing open-air seats. This is still being implemented. In Seoul, there are pet-friendly measures. However, in Hong Kong, we have a lack of space. It's very difficult to encourage the public to go out. We need to expedite different pilot programs when it comes to unlawful shopfront extensions. It's quite serious. Environmental protection, tobacco control, pet policies, all these are factors at play. And these actually impose a greater burden on the affected industries, which are already in dire straits. Many people are looking for better value for money. The government may be focusing on macro policies. Some Hong Kong people travel between Hong Kong and the mainland. They just want to save some money. No matter what stores do, probably their efforts will go down the drain. So we shouldn't just rely on figures. We shouldn't just rely on the macro environment. We also need to take into account the micro environment, the living standard of people in Hong Kong, and the index of well-being of living in the city. Hong Kong people are living under great pressure. So how can we encourage the public to spend in the city? We shouldn't revitalize the city just for a short period of time. We should implement systematic reforms. We need to revitalize the consumption market. It's exactly how we can build a better ecosystem. Thank you.
主席，
Mr. Eric Yim, Deputy President, I thank Mr. Adrian HO for the motion. This gives us the opportunity to explore in depth the challenges faced by the local consumption market. According to the CNSD data, for the first 4 months this year, the total value of retail sales dropped by 5.6%. Vehicles dropped significantly. And we've got over 81 million people from Hong Kong going to the north. Recently, some well-known e-commerce platform tries to tap into the Hong Kong market, and they worsen the situation for the retail sector here. The government should boost demand and enhance incentives for people to stay in Hong Kong to spend. In this Year 2 session working report, it is suggested that there should be a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. There should be an upgraded model for people's spending. We should boost local spending and seize opportunities. We need a better plan for high-value products. We need to enhance people's experience. Pop Mart's Labubu is a success, and it has created unique cultural value. It is a luxury product collected by many people. This is the work of a Hong Kong artist. I think the SAR government should encourage SMEs in Hong Kong to work with different cultural sectors and to build local brands with cultural characteristics to boost the spending. Also, there should be trade-in policies to boost domestic demand and spending. The trade-in policy in the mainland shows that in the first quarter this year, over 34 million people participated in the scheme, and involving some $174 billion of spending. There should be trade-in for electrical appliances in Hong Kong. This will help enhance people's quality of life, and at the same time, it will give more incentives for people to spend. We need the participation of the business sector. I'm happy that the business sector is rolling out special offers on the 1st of July to celebrate the establishment of the SAR. People will be able to take the tram for free, and there are different admission packages as well. This will help boost spending, and I hope we will all work hard together. In the long run, in order to boost economic growth, we need the southbound travel scheme for Guangdong vehicles. We need to attract more high-end visitors. We should ease the burden of local business merchants. Owners should lower the rent and shoulder the risks with businesses. There should be tax breaks to lower cost. I think we should study the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption published by our country. We need concerted efforts of various sectors to create the conditions to boost spending as well as economic growth. We need to diversify people's experience. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Kingsley Wong. Thank you, President. To stimulate local spending, we need to first increase people's income and incentives to spend. We need a comprehensive set of measures. The country published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. The first point is about ensuring reasonable increase of people's wage. And there is mention about minimum statutory wage. The employment rate in Hong Kong rose to 3%, and because of the labor importation scheme, many local workers complained that there are not enough jobs for them. Since September 2023, the launch of the enhanced labor importation scheme, the employment rate for the F&B industry rose to 4.4%, and the latest unemployment rate rose to about 6%. Take the steel bending industry, we've got a lowered income. Income have been lowered by 30%, and for imported labor, they are competing for jobs with local workers, and because of lowered salary, people are not spending. So we have to secure jobs for workers. We have to review the labor importation scheme and control the number of imported labor. For example, we have to draw a red line. When the unemployment rate raised to 5 to 6% for certain industry, then we should immediately freeze the labor importation scheme to protect and safeguard local employment. It is only if people are bold enough to spend that we can boost the market. Also, it is suggested by our country that we should ensure pension for retired people. Hong Kong should follow suit. By 2043, 1 out of 3 Hong Kong people will be an elderly. So silver economy will play a more important role. If there is not a good return under the MPF scheme, and with the high administration cost, people may spend or exhaust their MPF funds soon, and this will lower their spending power. So I hope the SAR government would roll out MPF products that can exceed inflation, and there should be a cap on the amount of contribution. For those that earn less than $300,000, they should contribute less than $10,000. So in the long run, these are the measures that need to be implemented. To inject impetus to our economy, we have to ensure people's employment. I mentioned time and again that our labor participation rate falls behind other neighboring places as well as advanced economies, and this hinders our economic growth. Many families, they give up on looking for jobs. For the silver hair group, a lot of elderly couples, they'd like to find a job. However, for the asset limit, for couples is $10,600, and for singletons it's about $10,000 if you want to get the old age living allowance. So many people give up looking for a job. And for a family with 3 people, if their income limit exceeds $25,000, then you will not be able to get the allowance. So many families, they give up looking for a job in order to meet the eligibility. We need to boost the labor participation rate. We need better housing policy, and in order to do so, we need top-level policy formulation. We need to set priorities as well as relevant targets in order to create a good spending vibe and unleash people's consumption power. Thank you. I so submit. Mr. Peter Xu. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Adrian HO for this motion. Local consumption is facing huge challenges. The major reason being that people from the mainland, they come to Hong Kong, but their spending habits have changed, and many people from Hong Kong, they flock to the north to spend. These people have great consumption power. Thirdly, online purchasing platforms are flourishing, so these pose challenges to the local market. To resolve these problems, we have to ensure that we continue to promote our economy and enhance our competitiveness. And at the same time, we attract visitors to come. We have to ensure vigorous development of our property market as well as the stock market. I understand that the financial secretary has been inviting different IP companies to get listed in Hong Kong. This is going to be very helpful for our economy. The chief executive also said that we have been enhancing our competitiveness and we've got a lot of inward capital. So we should be confident about our future. In terms of how we should attract visitors, the SAR government as well as the central government have been rolling out facilitating measures. Last year, many cities are covered under the individual visit scheme, and we've got the multiple visa scheme as well. So I hope that the central government will allow more visitors from the GBA to come to Hong Kong to boost the local consumption market. At the same time, we have to strengthen ourselves by producing products with characteristics. La Bubu has been very popular. We have to come up with more innovative products, and together with the traditional industries, we can create our own characteristics. So we can always do better. We should step up our appeal in order to attract visitors. For Sai Yuen Choi Street, the street should be turned into a pedestrian pathway to attract more visitors. As for parking spaces, many people complain that there aren't enough parking spaces. Under the premise that the traffic is not obstructed, I hope the police will relax the relevant restrictions. Now, earlier we had movie tickets that cost $30 only, which attracted people to go to the cinema and spend money. I think there should be more of such events. On consumption voucher, I support the idea, but the general policy of our country is to boost domestic demand, and a $310 billion bond was issued. We had consumption vouchers before in Hong Kong, but it was a one-time relief. In our country, you can get 50% of subsidy if you buy certain products or services. I hope the government will consider launching consumption vouchers again with the weakness of our economy. Now, the 3 district committees as well as the district office have rolled out lucky draws to boost spending. If you win the lucky draw, you may get an electric vehicle. This is a great idea. I hope the district councils as well as community organizations can follow suit. They should work with businesses to roll out events like these. We need a good vibe in order to spend. It has also to do with our mind. Now, apart from attracting visitors, we also have to ensure our competitiveness. Under Secretary for Labor, Mr. Ho Kai-ming is here. Well, Mr. Chao Shu-chung just now said that it is only when people have money they will be willing to spend. Well, our retail sales dropped by over 10%. So we should not look at incentives only. We should also look at our competitiveness. People say it is very cheap to spend in the north. Well, 20 years ago, it was even cheaper. How come people are still flocking to the mainland? It is because the mainland has been promoting high-quality development for services, food. They're all rolling out high-quality services. If we have similar service quality, we will lose if the cost is high. For Hong Kong, apart from the rent, the labor cost is high. We've been importing labor, but we have to follow the median monthly wage. For Macau, it costs 2/3 of the same price to hire a worker, and for Singapore and Malaysia, it costs half of the money.
Mr. Brave Chan, thank you, President, and I also thank the Undersecretaries joining us today. I'm grateful to Mr. Adrian HO for his motion. For me, I want to see faster and more efficient actions to boost our economy so that we speed up the economy. There were a few keywords in Mr. Adrian HO's motion. I agree with him on those terms. We want a good consumption atmosphere. We want stronger consumer confidence so that we can get people to unleash their consumption potential. That's something we should pursue. Our country is pursuing the dual circulation strategy. There is a domestic circulation and an international circulation. Now, for Hong Kong, we should boost our local consumption, and we should also integrate into our country's domestic circulation. So local consumption, local is the operative word. President Xi Jinping called for better conditions for consumption, more places for people to spend so that people can truly spend money. Now, we all know this plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. The chief executive also called for new quality productive forces, integration of culture, sports, and tourism in a diversified economy. Constituents and other residents have told me they would like to see coordinated action across all departments. You fill out a form. That matter may involve several departments, and that's why coordinated work is so important. Now, for people who drive, they can tell that most people play by the rules. Otherwise, they lose out as well. You can see packed restaurants in the evening, but then drivers receive a ticket. They can afford the fixed penalty, but they are not happy about having to pay the ticket. It takes only 5 minutes to issue that ticket, and you ruin the business for the entire street. I'm not calling for illegal parking en masse. I'm simply saying we want to focus on the economy. We want restaurants to have business. Of course, we should toll away any vehicles blocking the street, but we should have some moderate relaxation of parking rules. Look at the rest of our country, look overseas. We should have flexibility in law enforcement. And also look at the FEHT. The licensing may take 3 weeks to approve. Shortening that period by even 2 days can lower the cost for the business. We want tourism everywhere. We also want consumption everywhere. We also want every department to help in driving the economy, and that's how we can achieve greater results. Now, the football match, the Village Super League in Suzhou, has just got very popular. The community got involved, and that led to a 300% increase in the consumption. Everyone helped out. The police helped out. Even the special units in the police helped out. Ambulances were ready. And that created a vibe similar to the English Super League. But our Village Super League was amateur, and then people were willing to get involved. Now Hong Kong is pursuing a concert economy, and we will have many mega events. There will be events for the anniversary of the return of Hong Kong to our motherland, and also you have the day to commemorate the victory over Japanese aggressors, and also the national games coming up. We need people to come out, and then you will get more spending. I would like to see all departments who get involved. Every department should go that extra mile, take that extra step to help locals and visitors. Everyone should help. We get people to spend. That means more business, more jobs, more income. So faster, better results in boosting local consumption, and faster, stronger action to boost the economy. I so submit. Mr. Benson Locke. I thank Mr. Adrian HO for his motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into economic development. Our retail market has recovered since the end of COVID, but the external landscape has changed. People now flock to the mainland for spending and dining. That's a fact. That's also a challenge. Our government has done much to launch consumption vouchers, day and night vibes, mega events. We also asked the central government to cover more cities under the individual visit scheme. So we arrested the decline in retail sales. Last April it was 16%, and in April this year it was only 3.3%. Some restaurants closed, cinemas were put under new management. But you go on Instagram, you can see a new ramen store coming here, a new bar opening. That's also a fact. As the chief executive said, some businesses closed, but new stores are opening. That shows there are still bright prospects for the local market. We should see the trees and the wood. The retail sector are embracing change, and they are offering unique features. Shenzhen offers better value, but they cannot replace us. So you can see the sector stepping up to the plate, and the government should help out. So here are my suggestions. So let's make the most of the Kai-Tak Sports Park to get people to spend. Since the park opened, we have seen more concerts and sports events. The mega events are successful, people like it, and that's a good start for our place as a capital of mega events. We should offer package deals involving hotels. But how do we leverage more spending so that food and beverage can also benefit? Can we take a small action for a huge difference? Now, for those who visited the Kai-Tak Sports Park and you leave an event, the dispersion is very successful. Probably people leaving too fast. People go home, people go to the boundary control points. That's why I made this suggestion. When people leave the park after an event, let's put up signs to direct people to restaurants and other places to spend money. Let's set out the location and the distance so that people can go for a drink or go for a meal after the show. The people are in high spirits after a show, so they want more activities in the evening. So we can have more rhapsodic spending or impulsive consumption, and hopefully that can spur the business in Kowloon City and To Kwa Wan. If this works out, Kowloon City and To Kwa Wan would be an extension for people to spend. The government's effort to promote the mega events economy are also paying off, and I've been following this closely. I've been trying to turn tourists from spectators to participants. You can see marathons everywhere, and this is growing in popularity. Now, people also go to different cities in the world for marathons. These participants also have more money to spend. They stay the night. In fact, they stay 3 to 4 nights, and people visit other cities with their family members. We already have different kinds of road races, more than 100 running events every year, so there's huge potential to be tapped. So let's package these events such that people think of Hong Kong when they want to go for a marathon. So let's tap the potential of this running economy, and that can spur local spending. Organizers of large-scale events have told me they're trying to get in touch with the rest of the Greater Bay Area and elsewhere in Asia. They're trying to get in touch with their peers in those places. They're trying to set up groups so that people come here for a marathon and they can go for other activities here, and they're trying to set up some kind of league event here. And that can help us rival the other 7 marathon alliances elsewhere in the world, and that would require government support. Hong Kong has unique features and quality to offer. We have our unique features, and that will make us unique and hard to replace. I so submit and support the motion. Ms. Nixie Lam. Ms. Nixie Lam. I support Mr. Adrian HO's motion. The macro environment has been less than favorable. Retail and F&B are not having a good time. And we used to talk about going out, going for a movie and having a meal, dining out. But now we have to think about what draws people to go out and go for a cinema. People can watch a film at home. You switch on your TV, you can watch a movie. You can do your shopping online for delivery. You can even return the goods over the internet. So dining out is the only thing that you have to go out for. Now, impetus for the local economy, how do we do that? Look at how people spend these days. How do we keep people here? Let's get people to go out instead of staying home. Only 2 factors you have to consider. Now, people have to take their kids out to expend their energy, or you have to walk your dog. Aside from those 2 factors, you cannot get people to go out. So as we think about how to boost the local consumption market, we will have to look at the experience of people as a whole. Taking your kid out or walking your dog, those are 2 ways where people have to go out. What facilities do we offer in malls? Do we offer mother-friendly facilities at malls? I visited Malaysia. I talked to the members of parliament in Malaysia. I invited them to come to Hong Kong since it has been years since their last visit. But those MPs told me they had kids. They wondered if our city was children friendly. I said yes. But then I could not name the measures about how children friendly we were. So for tourism, we want family visitors and we want locals to stay here to spend money. What kind of environment are we offering? Now, aside from taking a kid out, people also go out when they walk their dog. The KMB just launched a pet route. Pet owners had positive things to say about that route. But those pet owners also buy things. They also visit a restaurant. They may also meet up with friends to spend money. All that contributes to local consumption. Sadly, few malls and restaurants offer pet-friendly arrangements. There were electoral questions and electoral member suggestions about the food business regulation that's Cap 132X. Unless it's a guide dog, no dogs are allowed to be on food premises. More malls in Hong Kong now have outdoor space. So can we set aside an area where we allow pets? So maybe people can take their dogs on to the KMB route for pets and then they visit those malls. So people look for something new. Now, there are so many things people can do at home. So let's think of new ways to attract people to go out. Let's relax the rules so that we can get more people to come out. When I traveled outside Hong Kong, I realized that people went out usually because they had children with them or they had a pet. So let's think about what people's spending pattern is like these days as we brainstorm on the way to boost consumption. The KMB now offers pet-friendly buses. People are reluctant to have children, so they turn to pets, and they raise their pets as if they were raising kids. So pet supplies are now also in demand, and let's not ignore this development. Let's look at our laws to see what facilitation we can offer. Children and pets are a new source of growth for the economy, so let's think about what we can do here.
Professor Priscilla Leung. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. I'd like to focus on promoting the silver economy. After I became a legislator, I discovered a lot of supporters were born, they were baby boomers. There's a lot of potential yet to be tapped. These baby boomers, owing to their own background, are very ambitious, they're hardworking, they're even workaholics. They are full of energy. So for those between 60 and 75, they are in the prime of their life. They have good network, they have a lot of experience, and they can serve the community. A lot of them have to contribute to their insurance policies. They have to pay the premiums. We lack manpower in, say, fast food restaurants or Chinese tea restaurants. Most of these workers are females and they're in their middle age. They still can make contributions to society. They can even start up their own business. If they aren't in good shape, how can they provide for themselves when they retire? For those who are better off, they may enjoy their retirement years. Together with my colleagues of the BPA, we have been advocating the promotion of the silver economy. Finally, in the policy address last year, we saw the establishment of the working group on promoting silver economy. We have silver financial products, silver consumption market, and so on. We welcome these policies. But this has actually become a worldwide trend. For the silver hair in the mainland, they are our target as well. We propose setting up an entrepreneurship fund for the silver-haired, not just for the young people. I went to 3 concerts held at the Kai Tak Sports Park. Those stores lack appeal. I spent hundreds of dollars on one occasion, but there weren't any restaurants. A lot of us have a lot of good ideas. Just now, a member mentioned the running economy, so to speak. Last Christmas, I visited a very beautiful place. There was a female writer whose handwriting was showcased. I definitely visit Zhejiang again. 3 days weren't enough for me, definitely. I'd like to visit this city again. I'm a great fan of Sanmao. In the past, in Shangwan, there were dapaidongs. A lot of people dated there. A lot of people spent there. But we no longer see such scenes right now. There was a movie titled The Intern. It's about managing your finances. It's about managing one's interpersonal relations, or relationships rather. We need to help those who have just retired. They are very knowledgeable. They may provide tutoring services for children living in subdivided flats. We should set up a fund for the silver hair. That's actually one of the way out. We shouldn't overlook this group of people. Thank you. Dr. Starry Lee, thank you, President. I thank Mr. Ho for moving this motion so that we can discuss how we can boost the local consumption market. We're in the process of transformation. Consumption patterns are changing. We are in the face of a new challenge. Some companies are folding. When you're out in the streets, you will realize how serious the situation is. We are in the middle of an adjustment period. The transformation process is no easy task at all. It requires the collaboration of the government and the industry. The government emphasizes economic growth. The overall GDP growth is looking good, and recently there's been much good news, university ranks, International Financial Center Index, and so on. All these are figures in the macro environment. To the silver-haired or to the common people in Hong Kong, they feel more strongly with the feelings than these figures. The retail sector isn't doing well. That's why I hope that the Hong Kong SAR government could attach much importance to it. To be fair, the government has actually done quite a lot. Individual visit scheme, raising the tax concession amount, promoting the silver economy, tourism is everywhere, and so on. For the first two items, we used traditional mindset to boost local consumption. We can see an improvement in the local consumption market with some of these measures, but some have chosen not to spend in Hong Kong. The government needs to do more on this. We are now in a rough patch. We need to speed up the process of transformation. Hong Kong is a free market. The government may think that there are shops that have folded, but there are also new stores that have just now opened. Boosting local consumption is at the top of the mainland government's agenda. We need to turn boosting local consumption or sentiments into a campaign. Is it actually nothing that the government can do? No, that's not the case. When it comes to consumption vouchers, if the government can do it, of course, it's good. But I believe it's not easy at all, given the current fiscal position. At most, we can only distribute consumption vouchers for once. Consumption patterns are changing. We need to keep Hong Kong people in Hong Kong. We want them to spend in Hong Kong. You shouldn't ticket drivers who illegally park their vehicles, but I understand it's not easy to implement this. If there's a lack of importance attached to it, it's actually very difficult to boost local consumption. At least I fail to see it at present. I hope that the government would attach more importance to it. Otherwise, more companies will fold. Let's take a look at other cities. The government should draw reference from their policies. Say, in Beijing, they encourage companies to upgrade and transform. If you go on the little red book that is Xiaohongshu, you may notice such a phenomenon. In Shanghai, there are policies to give bonuses to new companies or new stores. How can we keep Hong Kong people? How can we make them stay in Hong Kong to spend? I hope the next policy address will consider this issue. Keeping Hong Kong people in Hong Kong to spend in Hong Kong is an important agenda item. Thank you. Your time's up. Mr. Kitson Yang. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion on boosting local consumption. We shouldn't just rely on releasing or unleashing the potential of Hong Kong people. Hong Kong people head north for consumption, and we exactly need people in the mainland to come to Hong Kong. We have been developing the concert economy. There's May Day, J.J. Lin, Coldplay, different concerts. I went to the concert staged by Nicholas Nde as well. On MTR, people sang en masse. And the whole district of the Kowloon City was full of music vibes. It's about collective memories. Yesterday, the government announced that 590,000 spectators were attracted to the 15 concerts. It attracted footfall and money to Hong Kong. At the end of May, Baby Monster, J.J. Lin, Raymond Lam, a lot of different concerts were held. There will also be J. Chow's concerts, Blackpink, and so on. This means a lot of people are going to scramble for concert tickets with you. We do need to hold more music concerts. Apart from pop stars known globally, we also need to encourage Eason Chan, Zhou Yiyong, Jam, as well as other top-tier singers in Hong Kong to hold concerts so that more Hong Kong people will be willing to spend in Hong Kong. They will stay in Hong Kong. Many mainlanders come to Hong Kong to go to concerts and they return to the mainland on the same day. We should launch different packages, including hotel packages, as well as concert tickets. Say Coldplay concerts and the Water Festival in Kowloon City, the effect was actually quite good. We do need to work on religious culture tourism as well as we have nunneries in Hong Kong. Say there's one in Diamond Hill. There are different cultural activities that may attract people in different age brackets, so I believe the government should rigorously develop different cultural tourism projects. They should also work with the sports park to enhance publicity, encouraging spectators to spend in Hong Kong. Venues are one issue. The Qatar Sports Park already fill the gap of a lack of venues in Hong Kong. Hong Kong Coliseum, Asia World Expo, Queen Elizabeth Stadium, the potential for use has been unleashed. The positioning of the venues as well as coordinating work also matter. The Hong Kong Coliseum is the main venue for holding or staging music concerts. We need to devise a mechanism for units who couldn't bid the venue for many times to hold events or music concerts on a special basis. There needs to be a KPI about the holding of international music concerts. That's exactly how we can scale new heights. That's also a way for Hong Kong to inject new impetus into the local economy. There are people touting for tickets, and they pose a significant obstacle. I understand the administration doesn't want to use a real name registration system. But actually, in many places around the world, say Japan, Korea, the mainland, they have already launched this system. Hong Kong Coliseum, Queen Elizabeth Stadium, we should use the real name registration system to sell tickets. There are private cars parked everywhere illegally. Qatar Sports Park car park should be made available for visitors. There should also be multi-story car park for visitors to use. I speak in support of the motion. Thank you.
Mr. Shanghai-Long. Thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion. We are seeing unseen changes in a century. Hong Kong is a highly external economy, and our consumption sector is facing challenges. Consumption problems are not unique to Hong Kong. Media reports have been reporting closure of shops, and this happens in Singapore, mainland China, Taiwan, as well as Japan as well. Even in the mainland, there is fierce competition. So we have to see who can win in this competition. This March, our country published a plan on special initiatives to boost consumption. And there are 7 actions proposed. This is to boost people's spending power. Now, without income, how can we increase spending? So we have to ensure that people have money, and at the same time, we have to ensure there is footfall, according to Mercer. Among 227 cities in the world between 2018 and 2023, the living cost in Hong Kong has been topped the chart. We cannot compete with other people in terms of our living cost. Instead, we should position ourselves as a high-end market. We have to enhance the consumer group. So I'd like to talk about this at 3 levels. First, we need an inflow of capital. This can reinforce our status as an international financial center. We can attract high spending and high income groups. Secondly, we need to attract specific groups. We have hundreds and thousands of talents who come to Hong Kong. I declare that I am a founding president of the Hong Kong Top Talent Services Association. We have had concerts and football matches that attract a lot of visitors. I believe there will be over 50 million visitors coming to Hong Kong this year. Also, we have to build ourselves into an international educational hub, and we have great potential in this regard. Dependents as well as children of incoming talents, they stay in Hong Kong. It will bring hundreds and millions of dollars. We have new 220,000 new tax returns filed, and this shows that We can create wealth in the upstream sector by attracting high-end talents to Hong Kong. This can also create job opportunities in the downstream, midstream, and upstream sector. Now, this can also attract footfall and spending. People are going to the north to spend, but this is not in contrast with the situation in Hong Kong. We should not block people from spending. We have to reshape our advantages. We have to leverage on our advantages in culture. This is not a zero-sum game. We should create synergy instead. We need the government as well as the relevant sectors to do their work. We have to lower costs as well as enhance quality of our sectors to help them transform. I have the following 4 suggestions. We have to stimulate people's spending incentives. We need consumption vouchers again. This is not a long-term measure, but in the short run, this can help stimulate the market. Consumption vouchers can vary for different consumer groups. Secondly, we need to enhance the consumption environment. There should be dedicated funds to support SMEs to experience or undergo digital transformation. We need smart spending. We also have to combat ticket scalping. Thirdly, we need to ensure quality to polish our brands. The government needs to step up training for the retail, catering, tourism, and transport sector. We need quality assurance scheme to ensure that we can have the competitiveness. The chief executive mentioned a number of times that there are more shops opening than shops closing. This is true. However, when we hear this message, we feel complicated. This is because there are shops opening, but there are shops closing as well. We have to let people know that we're all working together. We're in the same boat. Thank you. Mr. Perry Yu. Thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian Ho's motion. Mr. Ho suggests that we need to add vitality to our economy and we have to boost local spending. We're all working together to pursue economic growth. After COVID, we see that the spending as well as the living habits of people in Hong Kong have changed. We spend very differently nowadays. In Sai Kung, Lei Yue Moon, Stanley, there are many people there. People in Hong Kong, they used to visit these places, tours as well. But businesses there are having a hard time because they are experiencing a transitional period. We have to focus on the local market when we talk about local consumption. Tourists account for about 30% of the spending. When we were at the best times, tourists account for spending in the catering as well as in the retail sector for 30%. So how can we boost local consumption confidence? We have to come up with more ideas with the government. We need more policy initiatives. Now I want to talk about the industry I represent. How can we boost spending in the tourism industry? Between January and May, the government announced that we had over 20 million inbound visitors to Hong Kong. We have a greater growth in terms of overseas visitor numbers compared to those from the mainland. So we have to be confident. We still have our appeal. As long as we have good products with characteristics, we'll be able to maintain our appeal as well as competitiveness. Now, some members talked about the problem with costs. We have to think about how we can lower the operational cost for businesses, and we need government policies in this regard. Now, I want to make 2 points. I want to share with you about this. I talked to people in Yantian in 2022, as mentioned yesterday in the oral question. Well, we didn't have enough time to discuss this yesterday. I'll talk a little bit more about this. We're opening up shuttlecock. In Shenzhen, every day, there are about 20,000 visitors. I'm not referring to Shenzhen residents only. I'm referring to visitors from all over China who can go into Chongying Street and on the Shenzhen side for sightseeing. And these visitors, they have great spending power and potential. Yesterday, I said, since 2022, it's been 3 years. We've opened up shuttlecock for 3 years now. How can we seize the business opportunity so that we can bring tourists into Chongying Street for sightseeing? This could be a selling point for the tourism industry. This could be a tourism product that can attract Chinese people from overseas. There are many Japanese people who'd like to go to Chongying Street for sightseeing as well. So we need to work with Shenzhen to build a cross-boundary tourism cooperation zone. In shuttlecock, we can have a groups in, group out approach. We can set quotas under the system. We should work with Shenzhen so that we can have mainland visitors coming to the Hong Kong side so that they will not just spend money, but also they can enjoy the views there. We should leverage the power of the industry. We should work with Shenzhen. Together, we can promote this new tourism product and we can attract spending from the mainland. I hope in this regard, the SAR government would as soon as possible work with Shenzhen and work out the details. Now, on deep integration between culture, sports, and tourism, well, we are working on this already, but we need to step up our efforts so that we can promote our mega event economy. Your time is up, Mr. Michael Teen. There are some problems with my microphone. Can I use another microphone? Ms. Chen Yutming. Ms. Chen Yutming. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Adrian HO's motion on boosting the local consumption market to inject impetus into economic development. Over the past few years, we have seen things happening in the world. We have had COVID, which deals a huge blow to the global supply chain. We've also had wars between Russia and Ukraine. And Mr. Donald Trump is now the US president. And we have seen high inflation rate as well as high interest. We see sluggish property market in the mainland. We need to speed up the transformation of our industry with unseen changes over the past century. Hong Kong as an external economy, we are suffering. We are also seeing changes in people's spending habits. And this affects the local consumption market. On this subject, I have the following 2 suggestions. I think there should not be a zero-sum game or rivalry. I read from the news that a tenant complains the owner for not lowering the rent. I think landlords as well as tenants, they should work together. We should avoid zero-sum games. We see fluctuations and volatility in the consumption market. This is normal. Some shops closed, but at the same time, there are people who want to expand their businesses and open up new shops. If we see a huge wave of shop closures, especially shops with long history, this would affect the balance. So the government should work on this. Earlier this month, there was a motion about developing public markets. According to my observation, wet markets near the border suffer the most. There's a drop in terms of the patronage. Different types of businesses, they face various challenges. In Yunlong, the Tongyek market see outrageous situation. there are many vacant stores. This is because of mismanagement of the government, and also there is lower demand in the district, and therefore reduced competition. After the closure of these stalls, no one are taking over, and therefore these stalls have been left idle for a long time. Many people are going to the north to get groceries, and the government should tackle the problem and offer rental concessions for those tenants who are facing difficulties. We should not let the local market continue to shrink, because this will have huge socio-economic impacts. Now, in the consumption market, the government should continue to explore its role in it. We should also speed up the development of BCP economy and come up with short and medium-term proposals. Well, there are imbalance in terms of border economy between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. Currently, there are 6 border points in Shenzhen with railway services and public transport services. And near the border control points, we have had different business zones. And people, if they go to Shenzhen, they can shop and they can enjoy food. They can spend half a day there. Now, in Hong Kong, there aren't enough support facilities near the border control points, near Lo Wu, as well as Lok Ma Chau BCPs. There aren't enough public transport facilities, and this is hard to attract visitors from GBA to spend here. The CE in the Q&A session said tourism and shopping can help boost economic growth. So we should speed up the development of BCP economy. Apart from building the BCP as well as the business zones in the northern metropolis, I think that we should have short, medium and long-term measures. For example, there could be shops near the border control points, there could be bazaars and markets. Coupons can be distributed to visitors, because this is the first stop that visitors go through when they come to Hong Kong. We should have discounting vouchers for visitors. Thank you.
Mr. Michael Tin. President, a retail sector has been having a hard time. In April, the retail sales fell for the 14th month straight. In March and April, the decline narrowed to single-digit territory, but that's an illusion, because we are talking about 12 months of decline. We're talking about different base values. Actually, this April saw a 17% drop from March 2024, or 10% from March 2024. We're not seeing a narrowing in the decline. In fact, the decline worsened from March to April. Now, what about the local retail market? It's suffering. Can the government help? The financial secretary simply said he was aware of the misery of the sector, but then he said nothing about how to help the sector. So the sector is left to their own devices. I have been calling for rate concessions for 2 years. No response. Is that what you call a responsible government? Now, on boosting local consumption, letting in Guangdong vehicles is something that will work. It's better than nothing. But the government sees no urgency in the proposal. So now we're in a limbo. Who would accept the arrangement to park the car at the Hong Kong Macau Bridge, and then they had to take a bus to the city center? How's that different from catching a bus from the Zhuhai BCP? A road trip cannot happen like that. The central government has been calling for deeper reforms. What we're doing is not even reform. If the government is serious about letting in Guangdong cars to salvage our retail sector, we should let Guangdong vehicles straight into the urban center, just like what you have with the northbound travel. Now, the cars coming from Guangdong under the first phase should not go straight to our urban center, but you can look at Disneyland. plenty of land there. People from the mainland can go to Disneyland, and then they can take public transport to Tongchong and other places. At the airport, let's have car parks so that mainland visitors can catch their flight from Hong Kong, and that would strengthen our role as an aviation hub. Now, the Sunny Bay station has plenty of land. We can have a multi-story car park nearby. Let people catch a bus or a train to Tongchong to spend money. We have been calling for reclamation at Sunny Bay for a racing circuit. 20 years ago, we had Disneyland, and last year, Kai Tak Sports Park opened. But what next? We need a new infrastructure project. By then, visitors from Guangdong will be able to access not just the Disneyland, the Kai Tak Sports Park, but also car racing events. You won't see immediate relief, but once you give it time, with enough parking spaces for more cars from Guangdong, you will see a huge opportunity, and that will invigorate the local retail scene. People who catch the train here, and then you also have people on a road trip with their family members. You can see the difference in their spending power. Our government should show the central government that we are making progress. So we should let Guangdong cross to certain parts of Lantau, and then we go from there. That's how we can revive the local retail scene. Now it's easy for Hong Kong vehicles to go north, but then for Guangdong cars trying to come here, they're in a limbo. So we are being counterproductive in what we do. I support Mr. Adrian HO's motion. Mr. Tony Tse. President, during the Lunar New Year, one interview stuck in my mind. A child was interviewed on why they visited Japan. The child said they were happier in Japan than in Hong Kong. The reporter asked, "What about the red packets? Aren't those great?" And the child said those were not important. Today, Mr. Adrian HO's motion is about confidence and atmosphere. Consumer confidence and consumption atmosphere. I agree with many members on the ideas they shared. But the point is, we want locals and visitors to have fun. We want a stronger residential property market. We want a stronger stock market. And can the government hold back in raising its fees? And can we also see greater restraint in scaling back benefits? Now, how do we make people happier? When I traveled to the Middle East, I saw people with burqa. I respect their customs. But then there were also soldiers and armed officers on guard. There were totalitarian places. We went for a brief visit. We only had a cursory glance, but we were not having fun. But how do we get people to have fun? What's our niche? Hong Kong has a few things to offer. We are strong in branding. People come here for medicinal products or NPV vaccines. We have also seen visitors coming here for our hiking trails. They want the authentic great outdoors. We also offer good service. If locals are not happy, we cannot allow visitors to have fun by offering service, but I won't go into this. Now, I want to turn to something else. Other members brought up technology and new items. Nothing wrong with that, but the real beauty about Hong Kong is that we are where the East meets the West. We are a fashion city. We are a free society. We have these selling points. Our locals love them. Mainland visitors like them. We have to keep our edge in these three areas. Mr. Rincon brought up the great outdoor catering, pet-friendly premises, and struggles with parking, as well as the smoking ban. I agree with her. All that comes down to freedom. I get it, national security matters, but we have to strike a balance between national security and a free atmosphere. We want people to have fun. So whatever the government does, whatever events you hold, we have to keep these features. We offer good branding, we offer freedom, we offer beauty. Let's not drive away our investors. Otherwise, we will be no different from other mainland cities. We will not be able to attract mainland visitors. Now, I want to discuss the top talent pass scheme. It helps. But those people who come here under the top talent pass scheme prefer to shop and dine in the mainland, so they may not make as big a difference as we expect them to. On shopping and dining in the north, officials said that's because of national identity. People were voting with their feet. They identified with their country. But we also want to bring back people who have lost confidence in Hong Kong. We need to strike a balance between national security and the free society, so that people, locals, mainland visitors, and people who have left Hong Kong come back here. Does any other member wish to speak?
Undersecretary for Labour and Welfare. Thank you. I thank Mr. Ho for proposing the motion. I'll respond to members' views. In Hong Kong, we have a welfare system that does not require contributions. We have about 1.17 million people receiving cash allowances from the government. This includes 1.6 million people who are CSSA recipients, and there are elderly people who are getting old age living allowance, old age allowance, as well as disability allowance. 170,000 people in Hong Kong. They're not getting the old age allowance, but they are working families. The government has been spending $83 billion on welfare, and this accounts for 10% of our overall expenditure. We have a low and simple tax regime, and we have good social security. For people who have left Hong Kong, if they want to come back, we welcome them. And we have our own development opportunities. Some members asked whether the old age living allowance could be further relaxed so that people who are working can get the allowance as well. Well, I have to stress that this is a non-contributory social security system. We offer assistance to those in need. We cannot indefinitely relax these allowance schemes. If that's the case, it will pose a huge burden on our public coffers. So we have to spend public money carefully. Some mentioned about the labor importation scheme, including Mr. Peter Xu and Mr. Robert Liu, Mr. Chao Xiu-chung, and Mr. Lam Chun-sing. Well, the employment rate stands at about 3.5% now. We are seeing a high unemployment rate in, for example, the catering industry. The rate stands at about 5 to 6%. The average unemployment rate is about 3.5%. So we have sectors with higher unemployment rate. That's why it's 3.5%. The median monthly wage is 22,500. Compared to last year, it has increased by $1,300. So the overall income, it's quite good. As to whether we can do more to support the employment of people, can we scale down the labor importation scheme? Well, we offer incentives to people. We encourage women and elderly to rejoin the workforce. Our allowance scheme has already attracted 21,000 people to rejoin the workforce under the re-employment allowance scheme. Some people blame the problem on the labor importation scheme, but there are various reasons that contribute to our economic situation. For example, economic restructuring, development of technologies, and so on. A few days ago, there was a news. According to the media, because of labor importation scheme, some people, they hire someone to work in the fish market, but it is posted as a retail salesperson. While some people, they are exploiting the loopholes, and therefore some people blame the existing problems on the labor importation scheme. Overall speaking, we want to safeguard local employment. For a company that is scaling down its businesses, they will have to first try to recruit local people before they import labor workers. So if we have cases where imported labor snatching jobs from local workers, please report to us through the hotline 2150-6363. Well, people have been complaining, but we haven't got any cases. This is not what the government wants to see. I'm referring to illegal employers. If there are such cases, we will deal with the problem in accordance with the law. However, without actual cases, it's hard for us to take actions. For silver economy, like Professor Priscilla Leung said, we encourage Silver Hair Group to rejoin the workforce. 2 weeks ago, in the working group on promoting silver economy, we've been looking into the problems. Overall speaking, we want people who are able to work to join the workforce, and those who have the ability to spend, they will spend. Thank you.
Undersecretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism. President, I thank Mr. Ho for moving this motion, and I also thank other members for their views on this motion. Tourism is a key pillar of our economy. In 2024, visitor spending accounted for about 18% of total retail sales and about 26% of total restaurant receipts. I'm going to speak on how tourism activities support the retail and catering sectors from three perspectives: mega events economy plus tourism, the latest tourism promotion campaigns, and the development of thematic tours. Mega events economy plus tourism. Last December, the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau, CSTB, announced the development blueprint for Hong Kong's tourism industry 2.0. It sets out four major priorities: culture, sports, green tourism, and mega events. The government will continue to make good use of traditional tourism resources. We will also be committed to encouraging different sectors to embrace the plus tourism concept. This will enhance the appeal of Hong Kong as a travel destination. Hong Kong is a mega events capital. In 2024, over 240 mega events took place. In the first half of 2025, there were over 100 mega events. They attracted both local residents and visitors from around the world. They came to experience the city's energy. The Kai Tai Sports Park is now our largest and most advanced event venue. It can host a wide range of sports and entertainment events. It offers a one-stop experience for sports, leisure, entertainment, and shopping. This brings new experiences for both residents and visitors. The sports park also creates business opportunities for hotels, restaurants, retail, transport, and other sectors. Recent events such as the Hong Kong Sevens, concerts by overseas bands and local singers have drawn tens of thousands of local residents as well as high-spending visitors from the mainland and overseas. The recent AFC Asian Cup qualifier between Hong Kong and India also became the talk of the city. Looking ahead, more major sports events will take place in the second half of this year. For example, the Hong Kong Football Festival 2025 will be held at the end of July. Four top European football clubs will gather in Hong Kong during the summer holidays. In addition, the highly anticipated 15 national games will be held in November. 8 events will take place at 16 venues in Hong Kong. Tourists will experience the city's unique charm as an international metropolis. This will help create a positive consumption atmosphere. To attract more international visitors, the Hong Kong Tourism Board, Hong Kong TB for short, continues to organize, support, and identify more mega events for Hong Kong. It also connects different activities and experiences to launch year-round themed promotions. In May, the Hong Kong TB launched a new page on Discover Hong Kong website. It highlights world-class mega events and festivals held in Hong Kong each month. This helps visitors plan their trips in advance. At the same time, the Hong Kong TB will continue to organize flagship events. The latest campaign, Hong Kong Summer Viva, offers over 100 summer dining deals during the holidays. These include more than 20 buy one get one free offers covering drinks, desserts, hotel afternoon teas, and buffets. Many attractions and transport operators also provide special offers and discounts for visitors. For example, there are package deals for the Peak Tram and Sky Terrace 428 and discounts for Victoria Harbour water taxi rides. Hong Kong International Dragon Boat races were held earlier this month, as well as upcoming events such as the Hong Kong Wine and Dine Festival, Hong Kong Cyclothon, Hong Kong Winter Fest, Hong Kong New Year countdown celebrations, and the Chinese New Year Night Parade. The board will also introduce new experiences for visitors. For example, this year's Hong Kong International Dragon Boat races feature more races and categories along with enhanced side activities. On top of mega events tourism in Hong Kong, the government is committed to promoting thematic tours. This will enhance Hong Kong's tourism appeal. The industry is encouraged to design more thematic tours with a focus on ecotourism and cultural tourism. We also encourage the industry to link these products with other mega events and sports events. For instance, visitors can explore Hong Kong's hiking trails, outlying islands, and local culture. They can also take part in horse racing and penny-themed activities. These rich and diverse tourism resources make visitors stay longer in Hong Kong. Some members suggested having more outlets. We have already invited expression of interest. We will take into account views from sectors to plan our bidding exercises. Some members also mentioned suggestions on concert economy and the Kaita Sports Park. We'll study them in great detail. To attract more overseas visitors to Hong Kong, this is very key to boosting the local market. The CSTB will continue to work with the industry to roll out more mega events and tourism initiatives. We will step up promotion efforts overseas. We'll highlight our unique strength as a cosmopolitan city. We will also combine local culture, arts, and food to create themed tourism products. These will appeal to different visitor segments. We will also strengthen joint promotions with neighboring cities. This will help drive the growth of tourism-related sectors such as retail and boost local consumption. Thank you, President.
Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. President, again, I thank Mr. Adrian HO for his motion and the 36 members who have shared their valuable views on boosting the local consumption market. Just then, the Labor and Welfare Bureau and the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau have responded to matters within their respective purview and now give a consolidated reply to the other views shared by members. Growth in the domestic market offers a steady stream of income for local businesses that also creates more jobs and improves people's quality of life. That's why strengthening the local consumption market is crucial to economic growth. Our country has announced the plan on special initiatives to boost consumption, and that's a source of valuable guidelines. So we can support our local consumption market in a few ways. So we can work on investment returns, financial management, and consumer credit. Starting from 2011, the government has issued 8 tranches of inflation-linked bonds and 9 tranches of silver bonds. 2 tranches of retail green bonds and 1 tranche of retail infrastructure bonds. In total, that's $364.7 billion. All those measures fostered the development of the local bond market and also provided steady returns to people, and that means more disposable income of people so that people have the means and desire to spend. A greater variety of products and services can get more people to spend, and this will strengthen the market. An aging population brings challenges, but in those challenges, we must seize the opportunities. We should explore new industries and new business models to break new ground for Hong Kong. In 2043, seniors are expected to make up a third of the local population. They have the means, they have the spending power, and they are a vast body of untapped potential in terms of spending. That's why the chief executive proposed developing the silver economy. The working group on silver economy announced 30 measures last month to address and meet the needs of the silver-haired group, and that will drive Hong Kong's economic development. We welcome the positive response to those measures under the silver economy working group. And I know discussions and collaboration have started on promoting silver consumption. With the support of the CEDB, many conventions and exhibitions have incorporated silver elements in their work, and we can see the work paying off. In February this year, the Hong Kong Holiday and Travel Expo was held. The organizer and the sector came up with different measures, and that led to a 20% increase in the attendance of the silver group. In May, the In-Home Expo was held. There was a dedicated section on seniors, and some participants reported a 20 to 30% increase in business. The attendance also saw more than 400,000 visits, and that's up 18% from last year. That points to the enormous potential of the silver economy. The sector can play a role and tap the silver market. Some seniors struggle with swallowing. Now, with the support of the CEDB, we welcome the soft meals and care food launched by restaurant chains. I know those products are selling well. The CEDB is working with the Hong Kong Council of Social Service in promoting care food. We're also encouraging and helping more interested restaurants to launch care food. We also want to help suppliers of seniors supplies to expand their sales networks. So the CEDB is working with the Hong Kong Trade and Development Council on a platform called the HKTDC Design Gallery. We're also teaming up with the HKCSS. There will be seamless integration of online and offline channels. We will keep working with the sector in fostering the silver economy. We will improve the quality of life for seniors and boost Hong Kong's economy. Stronger protection for consumers. Protecting consumers' rights is crucial to economic development. We have different laws on protecting consumers. The Trade Descriptions Ordinance covers goods and services. Traders are banned from unfair trade practices, and this applies just as well to those selling goods online. The Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department will take a 3-pronged approach to combat unfair trading practices. The Consumer Council also promotes awareness of consumers' rights. The Consumer Council deals with complaints and also mediates in disputes between consumers and businesses. Now, on consumer rights in prepaid services, the government has started a study, and we will come up with the appropriate strategy. On tourists, in terms of their confidence in shopping here and also Hong Kong's role as a shopping paradise, the Intellectual Property Department has been promoting this no fixed pledge scheme. We're encouraging more businesses to sign up. All member businesses will put up a sign of this scheme, the no fixed pledge scheme, so shoppers and visitors can tell that this is a reliable business when they see the label. As at May this year, 13 trade organizations comprising 1,712 businesses have signed up for this scheme, and that covers 5,861 retail outlets or online stores. All in all, promoting the local retail scene is more than just a way to meet our economic challenges. It's also a source of economic impetus. Looking ahead, the government will continue to help businesses address the challenges during economic transition. We will take a multi-pronged approach to work with the sector. We will draw locals and visitors to get them to spend. We will support businesses and the economy. We are confident that with the collaboration of the government, businesses, and local residents, there will be new impetus for our growth, and that will lay a solid foundation for our prosperity and foundation of social summit. Thank you, President.
Mr. Adrian Ho, you still have 31 seconds to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Mr. Adrian Ho. Thank you. I thank the 36 members who've spoken on the topic. They've offered some very, very good suggestions. To boost local spending, we need the help of various sectors. We hope that while we vote with our feet, we also vote with our hands for our local retail sector. I now put the question to you that Mr. Adrian Ho's motion be passed. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the motion passed. I suspend the meeting. This meeting will resume at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, on the 25th of June.